the first one
It's
a little
okay.
bit.
It's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
By the way,
glad.
Joe's coming on Sunday.
Awesome.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad as long as he doesn't talk politics, I'm fine. So that
Yeah, well,
that
we
it's
talked to
perfect.
Leonard, so.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mean coming on, but I mean when he's doing videos.
Yeah.
Very close.
The unboxing stuff. That's a lot of. I just.
Oh yeah.
Anyhow, I was just going to say it would have been great if back in the day, we had all the stuff.
Yeah. When the stuff.
Because then it would be a true unboxing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of a nostalgic one.
Yeah, I don't have anything in condition of being unboxed.
Well, I have a Greyhawk Wars and a Greyhawk
I was
Greyhawk
gonna
box
say,
set.
you can do a true unboxing.
No.
You have them.
No.
I think the only thing I have shrink wrapped is the last copy of the print copy of the last issue of Dragon magazine. I think that's the only one I have shrink wrapped. Yeah. When I realized it was two, I bought an extra one. So
I think I have something shrink wrapped, but I'm not sure what it is. It might be the last issue also.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of appropriate, but I realized that it's probably sold tons extra and people keep them shrink wrapped just because of it.
Speaking of tons extra, I have probably 3 extra copies of the Mark Castle issue, 112
Wow.
Dungeon,
Of the what?
because Dungeon 112.
Oh yeah.
The Mark
Mark
Castle
Castle.
issue.
Yeah.
I bought every issue that was at the game store.
Just so you. Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't realize back then that it would be. I just bought one issue of things just so I had one. I never thought that would be, but I never had the collector's mentality enough. That's
It's the only time I've ever done something like that.
okay, yeah. And I could have because I was part owner of a game store. I ordered things from TSR, so we ordered things. I could have ordered 10 of them or 20 or whatever, but I didn't even realize. I just ordered one. So yeah.
So I have the one issue that I've used, and it's all. And I want to say I had one of the issues signed by Wayne Reynolds. The cover. Yeah. Now, the other ones, though, I had held on to for maybe a special occasion. And so, Jake, you ever want to do a giveaway on Mark Castle if that ever comes?
Oh wow. I mean,
that will be awesome.
Well, that was we discussed it a little bit with Eric, didn't we? With Eric and James.
Awesome.
They were both part of it, weren't they? Or wasn't Gary part of it too?
I'm not. Oh, we start at 7:30.
Yeah. We're gonna start a half hour early next week.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Special time. So. And we got our Halloween special tomorrow night. That ought to be fun.
Yeah.
We didn't do one last year, and then we did one 2 years ago.
We talked about liches and undeads and stuff like that on the first couple of years when we did Legends and Lore for.
Well, it's going to be a lot of that discussing tonight, I think.
Yeah.
Speaking of undead, apparently I'm going to a party that celebrated. Someone's going to be a mummy.
Ah.
Oh, and that's good because you can wear. It's built into the.
Hey, what's up, Tom? What's up, Skagith? What's up, Green Lunan? What's going on? We're gonna. I'm just chilling here, getting up and running here. It is, Skagith. We got a whole bunch of new terrain, King's Roads. You've probably seen, if you've seen some of the pics I put out, the downtown is all Gamescape 3D King's Roads, and it links into the Lowlands roads that we already have. It's really nice looking. Really nice stuff for tomorrow night. So Bill's been pushing out as much as he can. It's just, the print times on some of the stuff is insane. So the last piece that he did, whoops, I'm behind on my cues here. The last piece that he did was 72 hours in print. Well, Josh will try. Force March, good. Crush them. Yeah, so things are going well. I sound a little calm tonight because I'm relaxed. So this will be an interesting discussion. Gary will be on. Not sure what time, but Gary will be hopping on with us. Yeah, so Alderaan, I get some royalty-free music here and there, so I use this one as a general, but check out their Kickstarter. I linked it. It's the Tiny Earl one, and that's a link for Lord Gazumba credit, so even if you don't do it, just click on that tinyearl.com one, so they know that we're worth it. And the same thing goes for this one in Reaper, always. Here you go. That Reaper one that says reapermini.com ref Lord Gazumba, that's another credit one to go to Reaper's site. So yes. Alright, what do we got here? 76, look at that. Tonight's topic. Yeah, I really checked on these, Skagith. I agree 100%. I made sure that I got stuff that was completely royalty clear. So I agree with you. You gotta be real careful. Don't want to get nixed off. Here we go. All right. Legendary, famed monsters of Greyhawk. Perfect for a Legends of Lore discussion. I put down named and mundane because there's a lot of unique monsters at Greyhawk, I think, that would fit this build too. That may not be specifically unique ones. So we're gonna bounce around a little bit.
Yeah, when I saw famed, I was thinking of named monsters, not necessarily.
We can discuss both. That's a great thing. That's a great thing. We got both.
Yeah.
Yep.
Monsters and named monsters.
Yeah, you can go either direction. Gary gave me a whole list I didn't even think about, and I didn't have time to even write down. Get pics for them.
Yeah.
So.
My internet connection is unstable. It says.
Really? Because you're pretty clear in Zoom.
Yeah, it was Zoom that he came up on, but it's okay. We'll see.
Really?
You get some hiccups now and then, so we'll see. Yeah. But I have one monster that you guys might not have thought about, so we can add to the discussion.
Can't wait.
So Antiquitous, the Greyhawk Dragon is one of the most iconic Greyhawk monsters there is, but we're going to try and stay away from dragons tonight, but we can still discuss.
Yeah, we'll try.
We'll try.
No dragons. No dragons.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Because we wanted to have a dragon one all on its own. But we'll see. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah. You can always get even dragons.
And you'll all be happy. I lowered the sound as low as I could on followers and subscribers, but I can't lower it anymore without turning it off. So, not that we'll have a crazed event like we did on Sunday. And to go with a 300% level 5 hype train. All right, let's go on. We're 1 minute early.
One of these nice, quiet little shows. Yep.
Yes, nice and quiet. I have my shield here. I'm gonna have to do that a lot now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm JK Lord Gazumba. Good evening. It feels a little weird on Legends Lore, doesn't it? I got
Yeah.
Mike Bridges with me and Hannah Meyer with me,
Hey.
and it feels a little weird because normally Len is always like an absolute 100%
Yeah.
home run must on a Wednesday night. So,
Yep.
but we're gonna persevere and do continue our ways here and and have that really cool tribute on Sunday. So let me pop that up right now. So that'll be Sunday.
I'll try to be here.
Hey man, try to be here and
Don't make
hop
any
on if you
promises.
can to say some things. If you anytime
Might be late.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We got some good. Hey, what's up, 20 Sides? Good to see you on, man. Really good. So, famed monsters of Greyhawk, and the funny thing is when we do topics, it's kind of like the economics and coinage one we did 2 weeks ago. It went in directions I wouldn't even have guessed, right?
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I think this one's going to go that way too. I think we're going to have a blast just discussing monsters that are both named uniques and monsters that are Greyhawk based. That, by the way, Gary Julian will be on tonight. Gary likes to come on late and get that late entry. So Gary,
just in time to, have to repeat all the stuff we already went over.
yeah. So yeah, exactly. He'll be like, "Did you discuss this yet? Did you discuss that yet?" So we'll have yes. Thanks, Gitano. And once again, Gitano, thank you for that really nice long letter you sent. I know Tim had an abridged version he discussed on Sunday night, but that was really awesome. So, Mike, it's like when you go through Greyhawk and you think of some monsters here and there, you don't even realize they were created in Greyhawk first, even if they may be in like a Fiend Folio or Monster Manual or whatever, and then they've been ported out, kind of like Morning Canaan and Tensor and with all their spells, have been ported out to every game system because it's Greyhawk's where it started. So tell me some comments what you think about just how iconic Greyhawk is with the baddies, the monsters.
If we're just talking monsters in general, yeah, Greyhawk has the advantage of being early in publication. So a lot of these original monsters and things that are in the books by default, I guess, would appear in Greyhawk setting or in our encounter tables in our modules. And then we'll take the Drow, for instance, Dark Elves. Then they jump off to other settings and maybe are more successful. But there's a lot of monsters to go over.
A lot, and you know what? I mean, that's one right there. I didn't even put in here is Drow. I mean, my gosh, Drow are like the Drow are iconic to Greyhawk. And once again, every time I throw out that stupid Menzo Barons box set, I want to throw it out the window in comparison to D3, but I won't do that again. So, but yeah, Drow are one right off the bat.
I tried to avoid stuff that's playable, like I don't know about in previous editions, but in 5th edition, the Drow are a playable race now.
Yeah.
So it's hard to call them monsters anymore.
Yeah, well, they were playable when Arcana came out. They're in Arcana is playable, as well. So, yeah. There's a lot. There's a ton. And we're going to go over a bunch of them, and some of you may have completely. And Canadian, thank you so very much for that, for those gift subs. So, Drow are so underused. Well, they're not going to be, David, during the 24-hour fundraiser event, which is named in February called Underdark Uprising. I don't think they'll be underused for during that. We have 6 to 8 streams, doing stuff. I can't wait for that. That'll be awesome. So, Anna, what do you think? What do you think about in general? With some of these monsters we have here.
Well, it's kind of cool. You mentioned Drow, and I think that's one of the famed specialties, and one of the few monsters that have really become standard fantasy fare.
Yeah.
Across every across even products and brands or whatever, meaning different games. Drow have dark elves, Drow, whatever you call them, have become sort of a staple, just like elves and dwarves and halflings. And so they have really gotten a life way well beyond Greyhawk and Gygax's original. So it's kind of cool that one of the Greyhawk monsters have really gotten spread out and got into fantasy fandom
Yeah.
wide. So I think that makes them a special kind of monster in that way. And also the term monster is kind of interesting because meaning what do you include in a monster? Are humans that are weird in one way or the other, are they monsters, or is that anything that the characters are supposed to go and fight and conquer and kind of defeat and stuff? Is that a monster regardless of what it is? So the term in itself is a bit ambiguous, I think, on purpose. But so it's kind of, are NPCs that are named and just inhabitants in the world, are they monsters too, or are they just the weird things that are not men? Drow are kind of in a way weird, but they're also civilized creatures in some sense. They have a culture and they cooperate and they build societies. So yeah. So
Yeah, they
maybe
build-
monsters
yeah.
do that too. Yeah.
But I think for our terminology, you could,
Yeah.
I think,
And anything that is in the world that the PCs might encounter and stuff that should go. Yeah.
plus we got a lot of unique ones we can really
Mhm.
delve into here. You know,
Yeah.
some really disturbed, great villains of Greyhawk lore.
Yeah.
You know, so. Since Stolak, you can't though. Josh said we had to save gargoyles and all the other fun stuff for when he came back on.
Wingless.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
So we
you
can't do
know,
them. Okay. Yeah. Mhm.
absolutely. So, all right, let's get one out of the way that's up right now, and because I just don't, we could do an entire show, and that's Vecna, right?
Oh, okay.
You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
let's just deal with Vecna right off the bat.
Yeah.
Vecna turned in from a mention of two of his items. I'm going to scroll all the way through here and go back to the Mike, I pulled this from. Oops, I went right by it. I pulled this from your site. I pulled this right from Greyhawk.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and that's the Koss and Vecna fighting pick. This one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I think you had that up for a Greyhawkery post.
I don't remember
going
where
back.
I got that.
Yeah. But Vecna went from being a powerful lich to like almost the ultimate antithesis of Greyhawk. I mean, really, going back what 1,000 years? Was he pre Sully's Invoke Devastation? He was post, wasn't he?
Let's see, the birth of Vecna, it's 1750 years after, so it was in, 2003, minus 1750 in common years.
All right, so it was pre.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's pre. Yeah, so it's
yeah.
2,348
Oh, blue
years
box
ahead
coming
of
in
my.
hot.
notice I lowered the sub sound for everyone, okay, to as low as I possibly could. John, thank you so very much. What a wonderful stream you had tonight. Hopefully, you're still going to be married after he decapitated his wife's character, and her head was rolling around and almost rolled into lava. It was really charming.
Wow.
So, but it was awesome. It was so fantastic.
It was a one shot.
Well, it was an ongoing adventure that they had done for years, and basically, yeah. So it was like they were fighting Baphomet, which was really cool. So, but definitely a fun time. But I just loved it. Yeah, it was awesome. So Vecna is an ultimate baddie that has taken on multiple modules, multiple, you know. There's one of the modules has like pieces of him as every piece in an artifact, which I think is a little crazy. Is that Die Vecna Die? You know, there's been a graphic novel which is very valuable. Mike, you have it, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have the Vecna graphic novel.
Somewhere over there.
Yeah, which has become canon. So that's like the top of the heap on named famed monsters in Greyhawk that I can think of, but there's a whole bunch of other ones.
So yeah, liches is weird to me because these are people that are, I guess, turned into monsters. So I guess maybe werewolves would be in the same category or whatever. You know, Koss, may as well throw him in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I tried to avoid those as well. But yeah,
But
as
yeah, but there's a whole bunch of liches in that when you come to it, old lizards that turn into liches, meaning we have in the hang on a second. Now I need to go.
There are, well, yeah, there's a
Yeah,
couple.
we have in the temple of Tomb of Horrors that we have Acererak, and yeah, that's another one that I don't know if he probably. My guessing is that he wasn't Greyhawk to begin with, but they shoehorned it into Greyhawk. Maybe it was written for Greyhawk. I'm not really sure. You guys are much more experts on Tomb of Horrors, but me it seems like one of these tournament kind of style, kill all the PCs kind of style things that got placed in Greyhawk.
Well, I have a picture of him, and I have a picture that is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I found, yeah, because if you do, you can find almost anything on searches now, right? On
oh yeah.
Let's see if I can scroll through here. Boom, 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 boom. I put them in as jokes at the end. There, that's him.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So kind of with flesh.
Yeah.
So
and he kind of ebbed away and turned into a demi-lish.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes them almost more dangerous. Yeah.
And then, of course, he gets put into, general WotC stuff, which is okay.
Exactly. He's also transcended into general. Yeah, he become a mainstay. Yeah.
And that's completely fine. But that one that's up now, I want to wait for Gary because I want to hear his stories on it. Do you know who that is?
Is that Kargoth?
Nope.
No.
Azalin.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a huge story behind him because definitely an interesting one. Neural, he was like the king of Neural for ages, for like 150 years. And then just willed himself further and further and further. But I don't know the story that well, and I'm hoping Gary does. So and that is have you because Thrummel's not a monster. Will don't see Will starting now because he knows Josh isn't on. So yeah, we haven't. No,
he is a monster. Trying to avoid.
Yes, exactly.
We know that he fulfills for you.
Oh my gosh, man!
Yeah.
You guys are. You're trying. You're trying to get it all started. I know, but so David, I don't know that one. May or nay, another Soul Lich. I don't know that one at all, man. So
there's a lot of liches.
Yeah, there's a lot of liches. I don't have any information on that one, and there pretty much a ton of them. Maybe Gary will know something when he hops on.
It's almost more liches than vampires in Greyhawk.
I would say that's the case because once again, Strahd is not placed in Greyhawk, even though
exactly, yeah.
Even though I think
they
should
are vampires, but they're not that famed, so to speak. They're kind of a little bit. I mean, Ayus has one
in Grabford, right? Is it Grabford or Crockport or?
There you go.
I forgot which one of his Meshkelane or whatever his name.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
He runs
one of the keeps.
The vampire. Yeah, I forgot where in the empire he.
Oh, there it is.
But yeah,
Marquesa Mayernane. Okay. Consort to Dorsane, who I have up here. Once a consort to Dorsane, the demigod king of ghouls, who I do have a pic of. All right, very cool, man. I'm gonna leave that up and bookmark there. So. Lesser, yeah. Mescaline is correct. He is a vampire of Lesser Boneheart.
And then we have
there's one in
Ferdinand of Black Splinter in Reldevon. Here's another one.
Lots
and
of
Prince Leech has his consort, the Silver Dragon. She's a vampire too.
A vampiric silver dragon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Talking about Bending Kingdoms.
No, it's from Age of Worms. Leech.
Yeah.
In Alhaster.
Okay.
Yeah, his consort or whatever they are together. She is a vampire silver dragon, if I remember correctly. So yeah.
Very interesting. Did not know that.
That's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting kind of combination. Yeah.
Is she throughout all the Age of Worms, or is she in one adventure or multiple?
She's in a couple.
She's in a couple of them. I think she's in part where they're in Siege and Alhaster and Prince Siege and all that. So
it comes around.
I'm wondering who takes credit for that. Who
Eric
wrote it
Mona,
in?
and it's in Age of Worms, so it's
Yeah, but there's like 12 different authors, so I'm
yeah,
wondering which
yeah,
author
yeah,
that came through. That's a good
yeah.
question. So,
Well, this one is Nicholas Logue.
okay. You think that's the
Okay,
right one
yeah.
that she appears in?
Does she appear in this issue? Me? I don't know.
It's when they get to Alhaster, I think.
Anything
Maybe,
that, so Tim,
yeah.
are we typifying anything that drains levels as vampiric? No, they're not, because there's a lot of things that drain levels that aren't vampiric.
Yeah, they have,
Spectre's not vampiric,
mhm, yeah.
right? It's not. An energy drain spell.
And
There's a lot of
shadow
things.
dragons can drain various things
Hit
with their
dice.
hit dice. Yeah, that's what they
Temporarily, yeah, they can drain
yeah.
hit dice, but they
So
don't.
they have a nasty their breath weapon is draining. Yeah.
Cool, man. Thanks, Mark. Really appreciate that. Lurk away. Yeah. Does it have to be a bloodsucker to be vampiric? In the terms of vampire, yes.
I think so.
In the
I
term
think
of a
that's kind of
vampire, but this isn't
yeah.
set just to undead discussion as well. So
No,
you
it's
know,
yeah.
you can have a lot of different type, things that are close to vampires, right? But
Yeah.
so, but that's one thing is, what's the
Have
semantics? We don't need to go over semantics tonight. So,
Yeah.
yes, Tim, I gotta look that up. I've never done Age of Worms campaign ever, and so I was just interested on who came. Wow, a vampiric silver dragon. That's crazy. But then again, that was when you do those adventure paths and you're going to go from level 1 to 20 in that, I understand why. And if anyone watched John's game that was on a few hours ago, and those characters are 18th to 20th level, it's not easy to DM that. It is hard. That level is just very, very almost impossible to DM. So, vampiric unicorn. Well, you never know, man. There have been crazier things. Yeah, absolutely. Dracolich is. But you saw Dracoliches. They don't drain levels. I had 2 Dracoliches in my adventure last week. They paralyze and they do negative damage, but they don't drain levels too. Yeah, they're not originally. That's a tough call on a Dracolich because they're in that from the ashes. They're in this Free City Greyhawk box set adventure cards, which
Oh, now
means
we come into the one I wanted to mention.
go for it.
There we go.
Dragotha. She's
Okay.
one of the most famed, kind of coolest monsters in the setting, and it's a dragon, used to be, but a Dracolich. So yeah, Dragotha is one of my absolute favorites. I haven't used her directly. She's more like something I've threatened with and scared with, and she's been there around, so to speak, and in one form, shape, or another. So that it's something I scare every other campaign. I kind of just mention her name a bit, and players be like, no, don't do that, don't go there.
don't go there, please.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, please don't
Yeah.
go there.
And the
That's
funny thing
funny.
is that I only have to do it once with the group of players, because then they start talking about it and they give me all sorts of interesting things I could do. So that's the coolest thing, when you get the players' fantasy to creativity to run wild. They get so many good ideas.
Tell us about Dragotha and how Dragotha came about in the Shieldlands, correct?
Yeah, she is in
White Plume.
Yeah, White Plume Mountains. She's not really in it. I think it's only a hint that the lair is close, so to speak, to the White Plume Mountains. So I placed it inside the Rift Canyon, and it's. I think it's just something. I think she's just mentioned here and there. There is no. But then she's been statted out in 3rd edition. I think they statted her out. And there's a couple of them, and there are some pictures and stuff like that, illustrations and stuff. But I don't think she actually made it into a product as an adventure or something like that, at least not in Greyhawk. But she's also one of these that kind of transcended a bit. So I've seen stats for her, and I've seen illustrations of Dracolich kind of thing. But she's so old that I kind of converted her into a demi Dracolich kind of thing. So she's now, the bones are starting to succumb. So she's kind of
Anna always has to up them once or twice or 3 times.
Yeah, but the cool thing is that because a demi-lich, it's real nasty. So a demi Dracolich is kind of in some ways even more scary. So
does it demi Dracolich have gem eyes also?
Yes. They have a version of it. So yeah. And in my
Wow.
campaign, Morgenstahler is after it, so to speak.
Ooh.
Morgenstahler, that's the reason he set up shop there. He wants that's the one of the ultimate prizes is to get that for his horde.
And I
So
know,
he can,
yeah, Casey's big on Morgensthaler and Dragotha and
yeah,
all that Banding Kingdoms
yeah,
deal.
yeah.
Uh,
So
def-
I kind of wanted to tie it in a bit there. So and also, but now we're getting into dragons. So let's stay away from
oh,
dragons.
yeah,
Yeah, that was
it's
the
really
yeah.
technically not anymore, but that's okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So
You know,
technically not anymore undead. So yeah.
where in the Flannis would be the highest concentration of vampires liches? Wow.
That's an
Uh,
interesting. I
uh,
would say former Great Kingdom.
probably, but let's get there. You have a creature that,
Lich is maybe not. That's true. Yeah, but
yeah, you,
vampires and stuff. There are a lot of undeads at least, and various Reen lore is full of undeads and all sorts of stuff. But the Empire,
you have this.
Horde Society, maybe that's a good combination. Horde Society is another possibility. I would throw in make 2 or 3 of the hierarchs liches and
Wow.
you can have a kind of a cool because they're not statted out, but it's an option you can play with.
So you have this also this creature that I'm showing now. And by the way, so here's
Oh,
the Animus, right? The
yes, the
Animus is a
Animus. Yeah.
Greyhawk. Here's my creature book,
Yeah.
and so we have most of this stuff that's unique to Greyhawk is coming from these Greyhawk inserts that came out. Some of them came out first edition, and then some came out second edition. So
Yeah.
there's the Animus.
The monsters compendiums. Yeah.
Yeah, they were supplements. Some of these were in like from the Ashes
like
box
part
set.
3. There was a Greyhawk monsters
Really?
compendium appendix or extra.
Right, for second edition ones, but a lot of these came out Free City Greyhawk box set, and they were black and white, like the Animus, Lossel, some of the other ones we're going to talk about. So, what's up, Gary? You're clear to come on whenever you want, man. You're good. So, so the Animus, everyone agrees, and we did this on our Greyhawk, I'm sorry, Great Kingdom discussion, that they were, yep, sounds good, man. We're overdone, right? They animist everything.
Yeah.
Around. What's that, Mike?
I say they're redundant.
They're redundant. Yeah, they kind of took the kick away from them, making it, everything is.
Yeah, but I think it was more Card Sergeant's intention was not so much, I think, to create a monster that the characters were supposed to fight. It was more something that created a sort of political dynamism or kind of, it was more like a political weapon used by Naelex, the Overking, to threaten the underlings with and stuff. So I think it was more kind of something to give flavor to the campaign, to the setting and the area and stuff like that, rather than create a new type of monsters for the PCs to fight. It was more to build political intrigue and stuff like that, a form of torture that or a new toy that the king could play with his rulers, not so much necessarily for the players to fight, because these evil rulers will probably be evil bastards to fight even before they were animuses. So not much different. So I see it first more it's a campaign flavor rather than a type of monster.
The only thing I like about them is each animus is unique.
Yeah. I like that too. That makes meaning, yeah, they're not the same. They're different ones for different. You can kind of tweak them, a template that is more descriptive, and then you can make whatever you want of it almost. And so because there are some stats, and even in third edition you had like templates you can put on top of monsters and characters and stuff to turn them into animuses too, if you wanted to do the mechanics. But I think it's kind of, you can tweak around a fair bit. It gives you a lot of leeway because they're so different.
I think that. Okay, Mike.
No, go on.
I was gonna, as Gary just put in chat, Grimhawk from Carl Sargent, and I agree. But I think every lich is unique too, for the most part.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I think that if you go, a lich has probably got more power over an animus. But I understand where he was going. You can't just turn everyone into liches.
No,
You
that was
know,
too powerful.
I get
Yeah.
it. It's kind of it fills a spot, the Animus in Greyhawk, but it's not utilized that much. I don't think I've ever seen an Animus on anyone's stream. I don't think I've ever used one. If I did, it was unintentional. But I don't think it's a utilized monster that much because none of us are Great Kingdom adventuring, and there's no reason why we can't use animuses outside of the Great Kingdom. But I just haven't seen many.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I've seen liches.
Yeah, I don't think
No,
I don't
Tim's
think he
on.
created that many, but that because it was the nobles, the high
Yep.
nobles, and the maybe a few underlings, and court wizards and other courtly people that were close to the Overking. They were the ones that got the treatment. So the one he wanted to keep a tab on, so to speak, and so maybe a few hundred people all in all, but I don't. There's a list. If you read even the Undying, there is at least a dozen or so mentioned in there that there are animuses. But and then they're probably hinted at that there are more. But if you were an enemy or a so-called ally to the Overking and he wanted to keep control of you, then you were turned into an animus. And it's the interesting is that Duke or Grinnell, the ruler of the North Kingdom or the North Province, he did never went to Rossi's. He never answered the call because he didn't want to become it. And so that's kind of a it's an interesting thing. He was smart enough to stay away from it. So yeah.
So Gary's saying stay away from the stuff he wants to talk about here. So
Okay, good. Yeah.
all right,
But
I'll do
there's
what
what? Okay, go
I'll
ahead.
do this one,
Mhm.
which kind of is a shame, but not. And that's she's a vampire too. There you go.
Okay, see.
Drell, so if you've ever done Showcanth,
Oh,
Ayu's half sister, Drelsna, is the
mhm.
prize in the middle. And there's
Yeah.
a picture of her lying there in stasis. Dave's Wondrous Lanthorn above her. And
Oh,
there's
so
multiple
she's a
ways in.
vampire too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's a
Mhm.
color picture, I think, that was done
Great
about
image.
10 years ago. She
Is that
is,
a Jeff Easley
it's very
illustration?
possible.
I
Mm,
think it. Oh, that one. No, I don't think that's an
no.
Easley.
Always loved all the images. And Showcanth is Carlos Lysing's, favorite module. It's one of my top 3. And then you look back, and I'm glad. In a way, I'm glad that it wasn't like, oh God, I'm not bashing. Well, maybe I am. She didn't become R.A. Salvatore noveled, okay? And what I mean by that is, well, she's in Showcanth, and you end up killing. Usually a good party kills her, but then again, someone writes in modules about her, and she comes back and back and back and back, and I'm kind of glad that doesn't happen to her, right? She's got a place there in that adventure. A difficult fight. The only problem is that it's one on many when you're getting to that point. So you really got to soup her up. But she has an unholy reaver she's wielding. She's a nasty character. So, oh my gosh, John, John,
Wow.
John. Oh my
Wow.
God,
Thank you.
John. Jeez. All right. So, I decree and demand that all of you, if you have not, I'm going to do this like 6 times. You go and you follow John's stream right now. You follow John's
Yeah.
channel right now.
Blue Box RPG.
Go.
Yep.
Everyone who is not. I bet you all have, but John, that
Yes.
was insane, man. Thank you so very much. Wow. And John will be on with us to celebrate the life of Len Lakofka on Sunday as we do the tribute show too. That was very kind of you, John. Thank you. By the way, still have not heard anything from Twitch. It's been over 3 weeks. I guess they
Okay.
haven't
But
said no yet.
it's a good thing
So,
that you haven't heard anything.
Yes,
Yep.
it's been
Yep.
it's been over 3 weeks. So
Yep.
what are you gonna
Flip.
do? But
Yeah.
with all of your support, hopefully we finally get there and we can do some more great things in the Greyhawk community. Wow, John. Drelsna is a character that is gloriously written and deserves a glorious death. And don't abuse. I say, hey, some characters that are great are meant to be killed. And if you run Showcanth, that's going to happen, and they're successful. and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm glad she didn't get Salvatorized, as I call it, where no one ever dies. So, A.K.A. Artemis Entreri, Wolfgar, you name 100 characters in that. So there you go. I got my Ari Salvatore busts in for the day. So someone else want to bring up another? We'll do some uniques until I see Gary pop on. Or
I have,
what you want, whatever you want to talk about. Anna, you got
yeah,
one?
I have one. I have one that is a unique one that is kind of probably one of the worst monsters that have ever come to Greyhawk ever, and that's the abyssal maw. That is kind of a big abyssal snail kind of thing that doesn't have legs. It just crawls like a big slug across, and it actually went over in Grey Kingdom, and it towards Rossi's. It came from Rel Devon somewhere, and from the Lohan Temple area, and then there was something that the Death Knight. So Gary knows more about this, but that was one monster that I wanted to bring in as one of the nastiest things that have ever come. Is an enormous one. So
I know nothing about that.
yeah,
You're talking Greek
that
to me, Jana. This is good.
that's
I'll get to learn
that's
something.
yeah, that's a very interesting monster that I hope Gary knows more about, because I'm very keen on that. So we talk more about it later when Gary comes on. But that was one I wanted to, the abyssal maw. That was yeah. It's part of the story about Great Kingdom and the Night Protectors, and they managed to slay it and all that. So it's
No idea.
it's interesting.
No,
Great
no.
Kingdom.
Mike and I are both completely
No.
different. Abyssal
Yeah,
Maw, it's
so
called.
abyssal maw. Yeah, it's
Wow.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you got
It was a
me.
huge kind of a demon sluggy thing that was nasty as hell,
When
with,
did this?
like dragon heads, and it didn't, instead of legs, it had like, it was just going like a big slug or snail across, and have used dragon heads and basically ripped the whole countryside and apart, so to speak. So that's one of the, probably one of the worst monsters that have ever been in. It's like what's that huge monster that just kills everything?
What, this
Um,
Tarask?
Exactly. It's like an
It's
abyssal version of the Tarrasque in a way. So
I've
it's
never
that
heard
kind
of
of
it.
epic monster. Yeah.
What year did this come out? Because
I was trying to find out that. But I'm trying to. I've been searching and searching here, but it was something early on. So it's something like 500 years ago or something like that, year 100 or not, something in that. I think I put it in my line of things here, but I might have missed it here. So yeah. Yeah, it was in the early days of the Great Kingdom, if I remember correctly. Something like
I spelled that
year
wrong.
100 or 200 CY or something like that. So,
Yeah, but someone had to have written about it at some point. I just don't.
Yeah.
When was it? 1E, 2E, 3, 4?
I think it's in Even Undying, but it's probably mentioned earlier in some other.
Okay, because
so,
I sometimes
I know Gary. He knows everything about this. I'm sure. Yeah.
Sometimes I know stuff I've heard about. Mike, I've never heard about it ever.
No.
Yep.
No, so
that's one of the I wanted
wow.
to bring up, because it's one of the cool things that is.
That is
There's
great.
a lot of abyssal things, so it
Yeah.
would be easy to file that away somewhere
Yep.
else.
Yep.
Okay, so Stolux says Kargas summoned it, and Kargas won that we're waiting for Gary to come on, of course. Assassinate the Great King and stop by the person who got leader of the Night Protector instead of him. Well, that
Thank you.
okay.
Yep.
All right,
It's
cool.
probably in the night. It's probably in the Death Knight articles. that
Yes,
Gary
yeah,
wrote.
it's mentioned in several places.
So wait a minute, Gary may have written it. It may be Gary.
Exactly, it might be Gary's invention too. So yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I wanted to lure him out so he comes quickly here.
Yeah. Well, John,
we all miss Len.
I said this because normally Len is usually the first one on, and we're just BSing about stuff, and I'm sitting here, and it was because he came on last week. Remember when the Niron guys came on and DC'd before we started, so it's only been a week since I saw him, and it's tough. It really is, and I'm hoping we have a very, very warm and touching and fun and some comedy show on Sunday. I think we will, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to getting everyone's thoughts about it, and saying a few words on that Sunday show.
Yeah.
I think it'll be awesome. So
Yeah.
he
Asher the bear has a name on it, Andregost. It's not Andregost, but it's something close to it. It's something close to Andregost, because now when you say it, but
Yeah.
it's disappearing in all my 7,000 notes here. So
Well, the cool thing is that I'm going to be educated. Mike's going to be educated on something that I've never
so I hope
heard
that
of.
Gary comes
Wow.
on, and because I wanted him to tell all about it, because
That's what I was looking for. I was looking for obscure named monsters, not famed monsters.
Yep. So
I have a whole list.
That's good. No, that's great, Mike.
And we haven't scratched it.
Awesome.
Okay, awesome.
All right, hit us up. Hit us up.
Pick one. Yeah.
Okay. So I was going with named monsters.
That's fine.
So I'll do a softball first. Named monsters in White Plume Mountain. Nyx and Nox.
Yeah. Good one.
Okay.
Yep.
So what are they?
Which are the Ifriti.
Yep. Yep.
Guards. I always thought that was cool because they were given names.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when you name a creature, it gives them a little more oomph than two random Ifriti, appear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. I'm sorry, I'm going to find a dream spell argument if it kills me for Sunday night show when I get a chance. So what's up, Laser?
Yeah, Laser's right too. I wasn't going to mention that because spoilers, but
they added two
Fox
more.
And Cox. Yeah.
That is great. So there were 4 of them.
Arendagrost. Maw of the Abyss. Nice.
Arendagrost. Well, I want to hear the back. See, Wu-Tang loves that. And Mike, we're going to come at this for all different directions. We're going to come at it for really huge famed, great
Ogre
named.
Magi.
Yep.
Excuse me. Ogre Magi, that's a good one too. There's
yes.
Ogre Magi.
Go for it. Tell us a couple.
Well, the one that's mentioned in chat is Quesnef. Quesnef. And then there's one in Marcastle. Mordenkainen's Fantastic Adventure named Arlie.
Okay.
Those are the main 2 I know.
Well,
I always like that.
I love Ogre Magi.
They are fantastic monsters.
It's a great, it's a great monster. Even though they're probably misset. I think that they should, because they're more Oriental Adventures. I'm sorry if that's not PC, but I love them.
Yeah, you don't need to tweak them. You can kind of tweak them general fantasy. It's just one of these exceptions that a smart ogre that knows magic and
I love it because they can
spin on things.
They polymorph into humans. I use them all the time. When I hit them with that cold ray, I change them up. I made Orog mages too. I've used them and made them one step down below an ogre mage. Because Orogs are, and Gary has put that Orog on the list as well, because that is a custom monster when you think about it for Greyhawk. Because because you have a Grillins, which are Orc Ogre crossbreeds, but the Orogs are not a Grillins. So why is there a difference there? Because it's kind of the same thing, half Ogre, half Orc, right?
Yeah.
But they're not. They're not a Grillins out of the Fiend Folio, so there's a little bit of a difference there. Orogs are nasty. While Orogs are the leveling foot soldiers in my game for IUs, where they can go and they can get up, up to 9th level fighters, and yes.
And Ogre Mage are cool. I've only used them once in the Pomarsh when the characters were down there, and after that they were so scared when they saw a blue ogre that they were so scared when they saw a blue skinned one after that. So they always like, is he blue? Almost a year after, but he's not blue. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Orogs are good because for a scaling party in Greyhawk, you can scale them up and not feel bad about it. So orcs sometimes go, you can't have a 7th level orc fighter, but half orc you can, but Orog, I say you can. That's where does one of IU's Boneheart have a bodyguard of Orogs? Yes. Is it Zenvaline? One of them does. I think it's a lesser. I want to say Zenvaline does, but it could be one of the other ones. Orog Mage, you like that, Jim? Yes, I've used them before, and I got a couple of figures that are different. Yeah, strong mid-level party. I put them a step or two down from an ogre mage, yeah, or
Yeah.
mage, and they can
Yeah.
shape, they can polymorph as well, but not as much as an ogre mage can. So there you go. So a little idea for you out there. All right, come on, Mike. You got a whole list. Give us some
Yep.
more, man. As we're waiting for
Yep.
Gary. Gary
Okay.
said 10 minutes. So it'll be about 5 here.
10 minutes. All right. How well does everyone know Rary the Trader?
Yeah,
Not well enough.
so.
That's for sure. Yeah.
So, well, there's actually a little side quest within that book, which is I always felt was kind of skimpy,
Mhm.
and it involves the lair of a monster called Father Eye.
Yeah.
Anyone know Father Eye?
No.
No, Anna?
No.
A beholder.
Yep.
He named a
Oh.
beholder in
Oh,
Greyhawk.
the father. Now I should realize it.
Probably the only one I can think of off the top of my head. You know, there's bunches of them in Forgotten Realms, but
Yeah.
that's the main one I know in Greyhawk.
There is a one guarding up in the north,
sure.
but all these hands and arms of eyes or whatever that are locked in crypts up in the barrens up there. That there's a beholder up there somewhere.
there?
Right? Oh, yeah,
Cool.
that from
I'll
one
have to
of, I
look into
forgot
that.
which adventure, but it's one up there. That's the one I kind of know about. So yeah.
Tell us a little bit. Like, is it not developed? You got to develop it. It's just there, and you got to, yeah, you know.
I don't know the details. I just know that there's a whole section devoted to it. Probably even maps. So it's developed enough.
So it's an encounter, and you do with it as you wish as a DM, and you can develop it up.
Dorgrim says there's a name beholder in Star Cairns.
Okay.
Yeah, there
I'll have
is,
to
but
go
it's a young one. So
Okay, well,
Dorgrim, yeah,
he's named.
it's small. There's a picture of him in Star Cairns, and the main head is like this, and the stalks are real big. So I can't mention Star Cairns more than 3 times, or my players will get turned to stone because they hated it so much. And
Well,
I got
that brings up the modules that cannot be named are in the same region as Rary the Trader. So is that related to Father Eye? Maybe
it
Wouldn't
could
be too
be,
much
it
of a
could be.
stretch.
You know, it could part of the Blight on the Bright Sands campaign
Oh,
arc.
yeah. Asher says there was a whole
Yeah.
Living Grat core on that.
Ah,
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
So the Star Cairns were a great idea, but poorly executed, written wise and stuff. And then, like I said, after that, and I undid the Doom Grinder with the special during Greyhawk, and it was spinning, and it wasn't no Darrow freaking mothership.
Yeah,
So that's
agree.
done now. Hey,
I actually ran it. I'm not proud.
Oh man,
Lysandra was unplayable.
yeah, it was just
Yeah,
so.
it's fun if you want to just quiz your friends over, some night. But it's
Didn't you just tip the thing over and walk away? That was you, right? You said you.
no.
Someone, I forget who said it, but they said that they were doing it and they hated it so much. There was this jug full of water. Was that someone online? And they knocked it over and said, "I'm done," and they walked out. I forget who said that during stream. It was so funny. But someone said it. They hated it so much. Asher, was that you who said you hated Lizard the Mad so much? One of yous did, and I was just like, "Wow."
Well, it's a terrible module because every encounter, every
This is
room
brittle.
you come into has 2 ways of defeating it. One a riddle, one combat.
No, it wasn't. Okay.
So 99% of them rooms, you're just going to fight through them because the riddles were impossibly hard.
Yeah, it was.
I would read the module. I'm thinking, well, I can't get this. I know my friends won't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. All right, so while we're waiting for Gary, let me do one. We just got by him, and one of my favorites of all time. This is on my wall of fame of 24 modules, and I love this monster. And Brian, everyone knows Brian Sublime, who's kind of been tied up lately and hasn't been on that much watching or modding. We go to Sakatha, right? The Lizard King. Tomb of the
Hold
Lizard
on,
King.
Jay. That one's on my list.
And he's vampiric too.
Oh,
Yep, he's undead.
did not know that.
Yes. Yes. That's another good one, Asher. Absolutely. So There's a black dragon in this too. Hopefully, I don't ruin it for anyone. This is a good adventure to run. It's right in that outside that salt marsh area. It's challenging, and it's a nice classic. And he should be much more difficult than he is in the module itself. So you got to really soup him up.
That might be one of the few modules I don't own.
Really? You know what? That
Yeah.
doesn't have a multiple cover on it either. It has that green cover only. You know how some of them back then had multiple covers? That one only has one. You know, like Tharisden only has that pink cover, and that's it. For some reason, you know, there he is. But Tomb of Lizard King only has one cover. It was never redone. Like, you know, Tomb of Horrors has two. Tomokan has two. You know, so what's up, Gary? Hopefully his sound works. So
Yeah, we'll see.
yeah. So I recommend Tomb of the Lizard King. I almost reran it a little while ago, but instead I'm going with this next Thursday.
Okay, you got the animation. Oh yes. Against
Outside Narwhal, which I've never run ever. Oh, look at that. He's got a fire in his house there. So you got to soup up monsters, John. You really do in some cases, especially when you and I have, you know, you use advantage and inspiration, and I use hero points, and we use, you know, special proficiencies and feats and things. You gotta do that. So, Gary, can you hear us?
Yes.
Awesome.
Hi,
Great.
welcome.
I always forget to mute the other stream.
No problem. Oh yeah, because you don't want the reverb off of Twitch. So that's okay. So how are you tonight?
Good.
How's it?
It's finally gotten cold in Austin.
Wow.
Yeah, here too. Yep.
How's it feel to not come on when Len goes off?
Very weird.
Isn't it feel weird? Yeah.
I still feel like he's just waiting out there.
Yeah.
Waiting to revisit us.
No, I got that feeling too, because you know, he normally comes on first on Wednesday nights before anyone else does, and we just sit around and talk about stuff, and it's kind of weird, but we will honor him the proper way on Sunday. I've reached out. I haven't really reached out to a lot of other celeb types on D&D, because we have a lot of people have reached out to me saying they wanted to participate. And I want all those people who offer to participate to, you know, hang as long as they want and chat and talk about their experiences. So you know, I guess I should reach out to Luke at least and offer.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely.
but I've put it out there in all the posts, you know, that you're more than welcome to come on, especially if you met him on a stream, or talked to him in one of my shows that we've done, or one of our Legends of Lords that three of us have done. Definitely. So. Yep. So all right. Tell us about this Andragort, the Abyssal Maw, Gary, because Mike and I know nothing. And and do you want to start off with Kargoth first? Because
I wasn't going to consider him a named monster, because he feels like such an NPC to me. So I was not. Okay. I didn't really have him on my list tonight, but
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think. Everyone remembers that the Death Knights came from the Fiend Folio, and they had that really tiny entry that really didn't have any meat to it. It was just like, oh, you know, this is a very interesting monster. And but when you marry that with Scott Benny's article, that described one of these Death Knights, and not only that, the king of them, I said, oh my God, I have to do something with this in my campaign. And so you knew he had to have, you know, 13 other companions. I ended up killing one of them off so that the number is correct. But yeah, the idea would be that these would be, you know, some very unique undead foes for PCs. You know, maybe a cut below a lich, but in some ways just they're equal.
Yeah, like a warrior lich.
Warrior lich. I mean, I think that's the inspiration for the Death Knight is to create this warrior lich. And you know, it worked really well in Dragonlance with Lord Soth, and the concept has been used in a lot of other settings. So I think it's a sort of something Greyhawk could call unique to itself. But so then I said, okay, what do I have to do to make this work? And one of the things I decided to do was make the onset or the appearance of the Death Knights coincide with the turn south of the fortunes of the Great Kingdom. So I said, okay, I have to go back to around 200 when things started to fall apart. So that's why I decided to set it about 400 years ago.
Ah.
And I said, okay, so the Knight Protectors are this fantastic, powerful order of knights. If I leave them all alive, the Death Knights should have been destroyed. So I said, I need to create a menace big enough to, kill off a lot of these Knight Protectors and yet at the same time leave the order alive. So that's why I created this, abyssal creature that is essentially a child of Demogorgon. He's like a unique creation. I think they ended up giving him a little bit more background in Savage Tide. I think James Jacobs really liked what I did with those things, and so they fleshed him out and maybe even statted him up. So if you need the stats to this monster, he's apparently in Savage Tide's last few chapters.
Which means you can get it out of the Dungeon magazine, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because it was
it'd be 3rd edition, and it'd be probably pretty tough.
Yep.
And so this monster, which I think Anna described well, it basically walks on a sea of tentacles.
Yeah.
Ew.
And has sort of dragon-like head. So it's a chimera. It's a mixture of different kinds of monsters.
Did you create it?
Yeah, I created it, but I didn't really describe it very well. So you have to kind of credit the artists who take the short descriptions you give them and turn it into something. I think that's why you always have to marry the art with the writing so that you can create the full picture for somebody. But yeah, I think the idea was that this was the beginning of the Age of Sorrow for the Great Kingdom. The arrival of this beast, the near destruction of many cities along the path, and the destruction of a huge portion of the Knight Protectors. I guess a lot of the details of this are in the new Orth Journal 34 article that are coming out any day now, I guess. So look for it there.
So you have Andrew Gort in there. You have discussion.
Rendegast.
I said it wrong. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just more details of the battle and the
wow, that's awesome
sequence of events. I think
there it is. Rendegast, Maw of the Abyss. Well, so that is awesome that it's a creation. And so were you like me, Gary, and you said this Age of Great Sorrow, it just says Age of Great Sorrow commences in the original glossography. I got to write something up that connects to it. Is that what you did?
Mm-hmm, essentially.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's awesome.
I mean, I imagine these ages were named by the Oridian sages or astrologers or astronomers. And so, there had to be very big specific events that caused an age to change. So one of them would have been, the twin cataclysms, which ended the Age of Glory. We don't really have a name for the age in between the Age of Glory and the Age of Sorrow, but I guess you can supply something that would be appropriate for the creation of the Great Kingdom. But yeah, I think it would be one of the dominoes that fell that caused the Great Kingdom to collapse.
Very interesting. And it's a good starting point, I guess, for Mike and me, because wow, I feel devoid. It's a first. I completely a curveball.
I just Googled it, and that monster is, I guess, the offspring of Demogorgon and Malkenthet, the Queen of Succubi.
Yeah, that sounds like something James would do.
Yeah, and it's credited on Greyhawk on the wiki to you, Gary, and James Jacobs and Greg Vaughn.
Huh.
Because it's listed in things that are written by you three. So yeah.
Yeah, and these would be like pretty epic level, really high level encounters or monsters for people to deal with. So that's like scraping the top of my Greyhawk at least.
So there we go. Dragon 290, according to Gaetano, is where we see it originally. Okay, cool. I'm writing that down. Have to check that out. Great.
But I do like Mort's take that There's a bunch of named monsters, as in there are individual monsters out there, and we should cover those as much as we cover like the general races. But
Sure.
another one I'll throw out there that's also demonic is Kurzit.
Okay.
So who knows about Kurzit?
No.
We're that this is why.
No, I know what Kurzit is. I don't know the backstory, surprisingly. There's a cult to Kurzit, I believe.
Yeah, so I think he appears in Mar Castle in Mordenkainen's Fantastic Adventure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's kind of like a, unique fiend with, I don't know, like tentacle arms as well. I think he kind of inspired my idea for Renegos too. He's a demon lord, which is, pretty high up there for being on the prime material plane. He's minor, but he is a demon lord, and I guess he's bound to the Tome of the Black Heart.
Yeah.
Is he a type demon? Is it special, or is he unique?
It's unique.
He's unique. I think Gygax probably created him for his campaign.
Okay.
Or Kuntz did. We're not 100% sure. But one or the other.
That is cool. Okay. Another one I have that I never ran in my campaign was Mordenkainen's Fantastic Adventure, and then only bits and pieces of Isle of the Ape, which I have, Unga on here. Does that count?
That's absolutely a named monster. Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's not a god.
I just went by him. Yes. So Unga is it would be oh my God, King Kong, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So Unga is, and here he is. There's a picture of Unga in Isle of the Ape. He's the king of all the apes on that isle, and pretty nasty. Hit dice is crazy, and I don't know. You don't have to destroy him. I don't recall in that adventure. I don't think, right, to succeed in Isle of the Ape.
Never ran that actually.
Because you get in the Crook of Rao in Isle of the Ape, correct?
Right. Yeah. You prevent Igwil from getting it.
Yeah.
And you turn it over to Canon Hazen of Valuna, and then he performs the banishing of the fiends later.
But the irony of it is that Isle of the Ape was out well before that idea came out in Free City of Greyhawk, from the Ashes in the Carl Sargent era, right?
Yeah, at least 8 years.
Yeah, so they kind of pigeonholed that backwards in, because it was basically Isle of the Ape and Mordenkainen's Fantastic Adventure first edition modules. So, and we're talking about From the Ashes is definitely mostly all second edition. So, and there's Antiquitas just linked a wiki on Kurzit. Yeah, it looks like a mix of what's the thing that can kill you if you it stares at you? It's a demon with a big halberd. Oh my God.
Bodak or no?
Bodak, yeah. It looks like a mix between a Demogorgon with the tentacles and a Bodak on that picture. Kind of looks like that. Yeah. Isle of the Ape is cool, and you actually go to part of Isle of the Ape in Expedition to Ruins of Greyhawk too, when you have to recover pieces of something to stop the God Trap again from it, and that's another equal mission you got to do there. So.
And
he's connected to Eli Tomorast, which is a big villain of the setting. So
cool, neat stuff. All right, Mike, give us a couple of these other obscure ones that you worked on. Come on, man. That's good.
So, anyone familiar with the Falcon series?
Yes, of course.
Much, but you guys are, yeah.
Yep.
I've never ran it, but I knew the Falcon. That was not its real name.
Right.
It's got
because she's
so
I have a custom paint job of that character too from Mike Disney, because Falcon was the main antithesis of the fundraiser last year, right? So let me see if I can, as you're talking, find her and bring her up.
So I thought, here's a monster that has 2 or 3 modules named after it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Very
kind of,
yeah. Definitely. Here we go. Let's see, is
Okay.
that the back part? Oh, that's of course. I pop up the rear picture. Here, there we go. There's the Falcon. So we
Yeah.
have, yes, and that was for in that, and we fought the Falcon.
Is
You know,
she? Oh,
you got
Spirit Naga.
I was
Spirit
thinking.
Naga,
Oh,
and
okay, Spirit. Yeah.
dual class, specially priced of Ayus and a spellcaster mage, both dual class. Appears in human form a lot.
Uh-huh.
So the Falcon series I thought was not memorable, as everyone, even though it's 3 modules, and I decided that we had to bring her back for the fundraiser last year. And we had a series of stories about her, culminating with the end that Casey drove down, and Anna, you had your Elven Cavalier in
Yeah.
that one, and
Yeah.
we had we defeated her in Altamira, and that was a definitely a great fun time, and we raised $2,500, and it was an awesome time. So that's a real good one, definitely. And she's a monster. If there's a monster, she's a monster. Definitely chaotic evil. Um, it's amazing how many times they kill the Circle of Eight off, and she kills them all off in that again, right? So
I don't know.
yes,
So that's ridiculous.
the whole Circle of Eight gets wiped out in the Falcon series, and you bring them back. So they
Yeah, a little bit of contempt for the setting, I think.
yeah, because this is another second edition module, you know, all 3 Falcon series. So, but you know,
The Falcon series. That's
I mean,
yeah,
it'd be like if they killed Elminster off in every module.
Oh, yeah.
it happens a lot, and that's the weird thing is it does happen an awful lot that you know they go down to the Circle of 5, and then they, you know, it just
recycled it.
yeah. So definitely another good one. While we're on IUs, let's talk about some IUs monsters. How's
Sure.
that sound? So I have one up. I'm gonna go to this one. One of my favorites of all time is the Thassalos.
Oh, yes.
It is not an undead. Okay. It is
Mhm.
not an undead. It's a golem. So here's the Thassalos, right? All right. There's lesser and greaters. The greater Thassalos golems are sentient. Panjashek, who I've used in adventures and streams, actually has a sentient greater Thassalos as a guard. They're nasty. They have a lot of abilities. There's actually a spell if you have a specialty priest of Ayus on the back of the sheet. There. Whoops. Am I doing this right? It's here. There's a create Thassalos spell. Okay, so it is in the back here. A very rare, because no one ever looks at the back of this. It's the only spot I've ever found it. So
Wow.
there is a spell to create one, and a creature that has gaze attacks. Oh, I love that. Is that from that? Is that from that crazy Reign of Fire movie, or is
No.
that from Dragon Slayer?
Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's Game of Thrones. Okay, I thought it was actually an older movie. So that and that's the Thassalos, and the other one is the Varangoan. Did I say that properly?
Sounds good.
And that
I
is an
don't know how-
abyssal bat, and
Yeah.
that is this one. Another, and the priests of
Bat.
Ayus have a summon Varangoan spell, and that's in the Ayus the Evil reference.
Do we know who created those?
No, my guess is it's got to be a sergeant. It's got because it's a good point. I don't know. We can, you know what?
Because,
Why don't we ask
because
Skip?
it does seem to be something that was given a lot of thought and was a lot, both of these monsters and the Orogs and a bunch of other things were all very well thought out for the setting.
Yeah. And they're completely unique to Greyhawk. Has anyone ever seen a Thassalos or a Varangoan in any other Forgotten Realms Dragonlance that they haven't ripped that off yet? I don't think.
Yeah.
So, but they're both great monsters. Once again, from the Ashes era, and add to that a couple others. And let's do this one. Let's get it out of the way. This one is a favorite of them, the Mongrels of the Putrid Tongue, and Ayus, and that is one of my all-time favorites, the Lossel.
Yes.
Right? an
You need
orc
to read the
baboon.
yeah, you need to read the Gord books because they're in the book.
Oh, that's all. The Lassels
Yeah.
are in the Gord books. That just
Yes.
made my
Yeah, I
night.
think in book 2, I think it is, if I remember correctly. But yeah, they're fighting them up in Vesvi, I think it is.
Who came up with the idea of breeding baboons and orcs?
I think it's Gary Gygax that came up with it.
It's got my
Because
kudos on that.
That's the first time I heard about them were in the
Gord
Gord
books.
books.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're perfect.
That might be coming from a source somewhere else.
Orcs are nasty.
Is there anything they can't breed with?
Yeah, elves.
And
You
it was
can't
like
breed with
someone
elves.
said that Gary Gygax loved apes and stuff, so he had them in everything.
Yes, they can't breed with elves unless you know the secrets from the mongrels of the putrid tongue who solved how to breed an orc with an elf. It's part of the campaign arc in my entire campaign. There's a secret way to do it. So, and it makes kind of sense when you think about
you
it.
know that the elves will hunt you to the world.
So just they fit perfectly in the breeding experiments of the mongrels in my game. So I use them outside of IUs. It just fit perfectly. But once again, they are pure. I use the evil, monster from the Ashes monster. They're used in the Vespi Forest a lot to terrorize, especially the Beastmen, which is another creature that we could discuss too. Gary, you got down Yakmen. Okay, tell me the difference, please.
Yeah, so Yakmen, did they come from Dragon, I think?
Thank you, Bromian. Good to see
really
you.
Know.
Oh, it's Canadian. Thank you, Canadian. And thank you very much.
No, they're in Al-Qadim.
Do you know they're where? Al-Qadim? Yeah, that's one I don't.
Predate Al-Qadim.
Okay.
Well, it's an old Greyhawk joke. I mean, Yakmen have been around for like 25 years.
There's a beast
on the email list because they're just wacky, humanoid type that it just sort of epitomizes the idea of mating or turning everything into an anthropomorphic version of itself,
Right.
And to the point of ridiculousness. So now we've, I mean, Aarakocra, how do you pronounce those? Aarakocra?
Aarakocra, yeah.
Like that,
yeah, I mean, those are kind of a cool idea, birdmen. And I think that works really well. But when you're getting down to like Yakmen, you're basically just turning everything into a humanoid monster.
Yeah.
I thought that about Tabaxi too.
But half Fine Folio is weird. Blinkmen, Needlemen, all sorts of weird things that are just humans in some weird shape.
Or is it Yak Folk?
Ah, yeah. Does that change much more than linguistically?
I don't know.
I had never heard of them. I had never heard of them until Gary had mentioned them. So
yeah.
The Yakmen, I guess he said it was a Greyhawk joke on those.
Well, apparently there are a lot of them in the Yaddles.
Okay. Well, that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Well, the Beastman Forest is in the Vespi. Mm-hmm. It's a huge area of the forest, and I know that.
I don't know who the Beastmen actually are, so please indulge me.
All right, so Beastmen are actually neutral with good tendencies and are shy creatures, and they're not from an experiment.
Are they like werebears?
No, they're their own. I'll show you a picture here. Let me scroll through here. I had the picture just up, and let me get out the. I'll get out the. Since you don't know about them here, boom, 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 boom. I always go right by it. There we go.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that picture.
So the Beastman Forest is an area north of all the lands of Ayus. And if you look in the contested zones, it'll say Beastman Forest up there. In fact, our keep, the Eagle's Nest for the Order of Ulick, is up in that Beastman Forest area. And it says that they resemble short, slender humans, are 5 feet tall, and they have a very intricate language, and they can camouflage themselves. They seek to avoid combat. Sometimes they take prisoners rather than kill them. So they're very non-aggressive, and you can actually ally with them in that area against the forces of evil. And there it is. It's Greyhawk Adventure. What's that? Yeah, the Lossels. Yeah, their main enemies are the Lossels by far. So I've used them for years since we've done, we haven't gone back to our upper level campaign in the Vespi. I'd love to get back into that sometime in 2021, but we got so much stuff stacked up now. But I'd love to do something with it up there. But it's a good good creature, and like I said, not all named monsters or feigned monsters that are Greyhawk specific are bad or evil, and that Beastman's one example of that. And that comes right from the Ashes box set as well. So another good one. Fun to say, fun to play. You got it. Absolutely. Mongrelmen are a different story, Canadian. Mongrelmen are from experiments, like from Marquesa and others. Mongrelmen are abominations for the most part. Yeah, and now they were a race onto themselves because they've interbred with themselves. But mongrelmen are different than beastmen, definitely. Mongrelmen have all different sorts of weird body parts and things like that. So, yeah, mongrelmen are Monster Manual 2, Bill. You're correct. Absolutely.
And I like the fact that mongrelmen aren't per se evil.
True.
They could actually be allies.
That is definitely the case. It just depends. It depends on. It's just like a regular human. It depends on which one you're talking to or which one you're, discussing.
Whenever I think about them, I'm always reminded of the Isle of Dr. Moreau and the creatures he experimented on.
Yeah. Same thing with Marquesa. Yeah, it's exactly the same. She experiments with them and then gets rid of them, and some of them survive out in the wild. And same thing. Mongrelmen appear in Cursive Strahd. Are they in Ravenloft? My guess is, Wiley, they are, because they fit kind of there of experimenting. And Adam is Frankenstein in Ravenloft, right? So that's probably why. Because with experimenting, that's how you get Frankenstein. So, yep. 2E Ravenloft, good comparison, absolutely. Anna, you got one you want to talk about as we bounce around?
I was thinking that when we talked about the mongrelmen, I was thinking Fomorians. Are they're kind of a weird looking giant kind of.
They appear first in Shokanth.
Okay.
So that's an old module. So and then they're putting Monster Manual 2. Gary, what's your thought on that with Fomorians?
Yeah.
Fomorians are Irish lore, right?
Okay, so I would just ring a bell because I saw that picture in my head. So
yeah, they seem like the caveman version of giants.
Okay, yeah.
So if giants are a little bit they dress like humans, use weapons like humans.
You have the hillbilly and
but the Fomorians are like under evolved versions of them.
Okay.
With higher hit dice. They're nasty, like 14 hit dice, and you can't surprise them.
They're like the hills have eyes, but
yes, perfect analogy. Yeah, and they hit for a ton. They're nasty, nasty monsters. But I know that's where they first appear in Shokanth. So to me that's great, as Greyhawk as you get, really. It's a good one. The question is that where's their habitat? I don't know. Do we have any mentions of Fomorians in any armies or like Ayu's armies? I don't know of any.
No.
I use the evil when they talk about army lists. They just say giants. They don't specify.
Yeah.
And I usually take most of those to be hill giants.
Yeah, unless you're talking about the Crystal Mist or you're talking about the Against the Giant series or whatever. Yeah, normally they're correct. Unless it's specifically said. It's a good one. It really is. It's what gives you some thought on other locations. And if anyone, what's up, nerd? Bouchery, good to see you, man. If anyone else can think of a Fomorian posted somewhere, let us know on that one. And Greyhawk specific, I'm interested to see if that is the case. Mike, throw us up one. What do you got?
So you guys were talking about giants and things, and
yes,
I was thinking about named giants.
That's cool.
So when you go to Against the Giants, you've got those leaders, right?
Yes. Now we're talking about the return, the 25th anniversary edition one, or are we talking about the G123 ones? Because there's a lot more in the.
I guess G123.
Okay, cool.
And I'm not entirely certain, but like the original modules, I don't know if they actually named the leaders of the giants in that.
Yeah, King Snur.
Yeah,
Snurr
like
of the Fire.
Snurr.
Oh, Snurre. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one.
Snurr.
Yeah, Snurr. All the 3 leaders are named from Hill, Fire, and Frost. Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
so funny
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's a Scandinavian name, meaning to twirl.
Oh, really? King
Yeah,
Snurr
yeah, to
Ironbelly,
twirl
it sure
around.
says.
Yeah,
Yep.
mhm. That means to snurra runt. That is
Yeah.
to rotate or twirl. Yeah.
And
So and it's coming probably
Grungner.
it comes from the Icelandic sagas too. Snorre Sturlason. Yeah. So it's so the giants have these kind of Scandinavian Nordic kind of connections in names and stuff. So at least in that adventure, full of them. So yeah.
So, Nerd, were you on Sunday night? I apologize if you weren't. This is a gift from the community, Extort, and everyone chipped in.
Everything is
Yep.
so
And
nice.
So cool.
it's going, it's real metal and all. It is unbelievably fantastic. And
Is it heavy?
yeah, kind of. For me, it is. But it's got the
It's a real
bands on the
seal.
back here. It's
Yeah.
I do have an outfit that I may wear tomorrow night for Halloween. My son has a
Nice.
Robin Hood costume, so. But I may put my costume on for tomorrow night's Halloween special. I have a Black Knight costume. I think it looks more like an Assassin's Creed Black Knight, but it's okay. So,
Now
so
you need a
they surprised
tabard.
me. What's that?
You need a tabard now with those colors.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, got one more step. So we're gonna redo eventually. We're gonna redo my basement. Behind us when we're playing is those 2 big green bookcases. I'm gonna go have half bookcases there. IKEA's been out of them though, and I'm gonna have that wall space behind. I'm gonna put the shield up as the main thing, and I do have a Scottish Claymore and some other weapons I'm gonna put up on the wall, kind of like Tim's. So it is gonna go on the wall downstairs, but I can be able to move it. So thank you for that. And I'm sorry to interrupt there. So Stumpy, Gitana, what module is that? Is it a Greyhawk based module or not? That Dungeons number 70, a Formorian appears according to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah, that Dungeon Master
Yeah.
costume's awesome, Tony. I saw that too. It's nice to see that Jay would jump and fringe, keep arrows. I don't. It's so nice. I don't want to mess it up. Come on, I just got it, man. You guys surprised the hell out of me and all. So, yeah, you really want to. You really want to watch that one. So, go ahead, Mike. Did you got another?
So yeah, you got Chief Nasra,
Mhm.
Snurr,
Yep.
and Grungner, the Frost Giant
Mhm.
ruler. But then in the Liberation of Joff
Yep.
module, they introduce a 4th, and that's a Cloud Giant
Mhm.
ruler.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Her name is Garoda.
Mm-hmm. So she was added in to give more flavor and give more control, concept over.
Yeah.
And then they took that and they made GD the whole series, which is the number 1, right, Gary? The number 1 rated adventure of all time, correct? Queen of Spiders.
EDQ 1 to 7, yeah.
Yep. And that is so. And they added and just smashed them all together. So they kept on adding to a good thing.
EDQST, just smash them all.
You could say that. Harankul, there we go. And World of Great City of Skulls has a
wow.
Formorian.
Well
Beautiful
done.
katana.
Awesome. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah,
has a
thank
name
you.
Good one.
Formorian. Beautiful. NEV. Okay. You mean module wise Canadian? I'm a little confused on that.
I don't think there's any V series.
No. I do not know I don't think there's a V series at all. So very good ones, Mike. Very, very good ones.
Yeah.
Gary, what do you got?
Well, let's circle back to the Sword Wraiths.
Yes.
Oh.
One of my favorites, monsters from Greyhawk of all time. There's a picture from this book. Go ahead.
So I think they first
Sword
appeared
Wraiths.
in the Greyhawk Adventures hardcover. And one of the subtitles there was that they were the Stark Mound Spirits, which is north
Very
of
specific.
north of Keoland, between Keoland and Grand March, I think. So one of the ideas we had, Eric and I, was to create a bigger background for them to make an actual. So Sword Wraiths are undead who are essentially created when a warrior dies magically and somehow his will to survive or will to continue fighting just keeps him going. So he refuses to die. But interestingly, that doesn't necessarily make them like evil or a lich or anything like that.
No?
And in some sense, they do retain some of their memories of the past, even
Are
though
they haunts?
a little bit like that, except that I think they're a little more real. You know, they're
Yeah.
they're not they're corporeal, and they look like themselves. They're just not as alive, but in some sense they're still capable of fighting and still capable of making plans. But so what we did was we created. So let's say Sword of the Race can appear anywhere in the Flatus if a warrior dies and these special circumstances occur. But in, I don't know, 450 or 455, a huge army of the Kiowish went to go force the Grand March back into the kingdom. They had tried to separate. And an evil mage, I think, helped the Duke repel this army by casting some dastardly spell that destroyed most of it, but ended up creating hundreds of these sword wraiths
Ooh.
in those mountains, in the Stark Mountains. So some of these individuals are still alive. I mean, alive as undead, and wandering the mountains, wandering the hills, and
So are they like? I keep comparing them to other undead. Are they like revenants then? Do they
Yes,
have a
they're
mission?
non-corporal. According to they're non-corporal, they're spirits. They're not corporal.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm sure about that. Absolutely.
Oh,
They look
Oh.
corporal,
Yeah.
but I believe they're non-corporal. That's a good call. Well, let me take a look here.
okay.
Let me take a look. Maybe they're different. Only seen at night or underground where the sun never shines. Sword race appears warriors garbed in armor with sword weapons. So the armor weapons are remarkable. The flesh within appears insubstantial.
Interesting.
Under certain lighting conditions, all that can be seen are two glowing eyes within the shadow
Okay.
of the helmet. Yeah.
So you know what?
Interesting.
That reminds me a lot of the undead in Lord of the Rings.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
The ones
spirits
where,
of-
the spirits where they have to
Okay.
go and fight.
Right.
Good. So everyone knows, if you watched my Thursday night games, I just used sword wraiths. Real quick story. The story background was it was during the Hateful Wars, and at the point of
Okay.
Defile's End, and there was a captain and all his troops, and they were. It turns out they built their fort on top of a Sulwe's ancient fort, and there were two Draco liches buried beneath, and they were killed when all the humanoids came and fled. There was, a dozen of them. They held off 1,000 humanoids. The town got away, but they all got killed. And then when this earthquake happened and reopened the Shadow Well there, they all were resummoned, and that was the last 2 weeks of adventuring. Just note, I love sword base. So
Yeah.
and I
mean, one good thing about them seems to be that they're not like negative plane hungry like some of the other
Exactly.
undead. So they don't drain levels or steal life from anybody. They're just warriors.
They do drain strength.
They do drain strength. Okay.
Point of hit. Yeah.
But they're not like other higher undead, and they make great like lieutenants for death knights and liches and stuff like that. Very good mid-level monster.
They are fantastic, and some things. Sword race strength drain is 1 point per hit, and it's not like a shadow strength that comes back after a turn. It comes back after a day. So I had drained a lot of the party in the last 2 weeks their strength with the sword with fighting. And I gave them specialization because when this was written, there was no weapon specialization back then in there, so they got 2 attacks per round. So you can make sword race a lot nastier. Great, unique Greyhawk monster. One of my favorites.
Yeah, the second place they're most abundant is in the Bone March.
Makes sense. Total. And I love to see how you tied them in, Gary, with the Death Knights. It's perfect. And you can have different types of sword race. They can be corporal or not. I'm just, it doesn't matter.
No, I guess I need to envision the armors floating around. The armor and the equipment are corporal, but not the actual stuff holding it up.
Yeah, which goes into exactly what those Lord of the Rings, the betrayers look like. So, Yep, and definitely a wonderful. And I asked Jim Ward, who did that monster and Drowned Ones, which we haven't gotten to yet. And I recall during his interview, and I recall him saying a group. It was a group effort. So I never got a specific answer on who made that, unfortunately.
Oh, that means it was really cool and he wants to get part credit.
Right. But they actually appear one place before. They appear in the Free City of Greyhawk box set. There's an event. Yes.
In the same era, yeah.
The Free City of Greyhawk box set has an adventure called Sword Race of the Crown Hills, I think, or something like that. Yeah. That's where they appear first, before this, and that's where I remember seeing them, and then they get written up and fleshed out in this book.
So if we cross index the authors of both books, we might be able to figure out who was probably responsible.
Yeah, it's probably Gary if it goes back to the Free City Greyhawk box set. So, yeah, let's get to it. Oh wow, cool. Very, very cool. So Chuck, hang out if you can, man. Wow, that is awesome. That's a great tribute. Yeah, that's a tribute to. So it looks like Troll Lord's cranking things up, coming up here with something in Discord I saw. You got a tribute to the Dungeon Master's Guide, like there are other things a tribute to the Player's Handbook, first edition. So we got that coming up shortly. But what a wonderful, wonderful company. And there you go. And click on that Tiny Earl Kickstarter, please, so they think I'm doing a good job for them. Let's talk about the Drowned Ones. Why don't we, right while we're here?
Yeah.
Gary,
the perfect pairing to a sword wraith. I mean, there's no way the guy who created the Drowned Ones didn't watch Carpenter's The Fog, because they exactly seem like the pirates or whatever, the dead men in the movie The Fog, down to even the hooks and everything.
Yep, there's a picture.
Yeah. So the idea are that they're spirits of undead who died at sea, but they're actually surprisingly powerful. Really a challenge.
They are really nasty because they swim at like 18-inch movement rate. Crazy. They're unturnable. Okay, you can't. Even though they're created by Nerol, they're special undead. They're not turnable. They are not affected by much because they're so waterlogged. I did an adventure, and it's been about a year ago, where I did, and it's on. If you scroll down on the front page, and you go to, if you scroll down here, it's called The Fog. That's what I called it. Adventure 865. That's Drowned Ones, everyone. So the picture's there showing the fog rolling in, magical with the Drowned Ones behind it. So there you go. It's right on the front page. I love Drowned. Like I said, they're both fantastic Greyhawk created monsters. Yes, beautiful. Anyone else utilize them? But you can use them in Sea Adventure. I can imagine you all the time in the Sea Princes, right, Mike?
I've had characters. I would just like plunk a sunken ship out there. Oh, hey, let's go, diving for treasure, and then attack. Oh yeah, I use them all the time.
Good.
Yeah, have you ever seen a 1977 movie called Shockwaves?
No.
It also reminds me of them a lot. It's the basic premise is that people are stuck on this remote island, and these zombie Nazis are coming out of the water, and Peter Cushing is in it. It's a schlocky one. It's a good one. John Carradine is in it.
Well, it has a Carradine. It's got to be awesome.
Yeah, so it's schlocky, but I mean, it gives you that fear of something that's just like it's working as a unit and it's after you, and you can't talk to it.
Yeah. And they are limited to shorelines for the most part, but I can't see why you couldn't use them in a lake somewhere, right? Or swamp even.
Mm-hmm.
You could use them in a bunch of other places. That was a Creature double feature movie on back in the Philly days on Channel 17, right, Bill? Yep. So
you could see some of these famous wrecks, like the wreck of the Sea Prince off the coast of the Sea Princes. Mm-hmm. Maybe being home to some of these things, because men drowned, they have egos and big spite, and they come back.
Yep. Very cool concept. Once again, I wish we knew who got 100% credit for it, but ask that question and didn't get an answer. Anna, I know you're not that much on sea-based adventures, but
No, I haven't, not that much yet, but I realized sooner or later I need to run a sea campaign because it's an interesting environment. But I have one monster that I'm not so sure how, and I'm interested in how much it fits into Greyhawk. I've used it a couple of times. It's one of my favorite monsters along with the hags, but the Banshee. And it's I even written it into my elvendom lore, so to speak.
It's called a groaning spirit in Monster Manual 1. I guess they,
Oh,
for some
that's
reason
what I
they
was
did
gonna
not
say.
want to
Yeah,
use the name
yeah.
Banshee. I don't know why.
Groaning spirit. Okay.
They
Yeah.
could have called it La Llorona.
Yeah,
Is that the real name
that's
for it
the
in lore?
Irish or Celtic
No, but
name
in
of it.
Latin America, that's the exact same monster. Essentially.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Mhm.
It says Banshee in parentheses
Okay.
in the
Groaning
original
spirit.
Monster
That's
Manual here. Just looking it up. Groaning Spirit. Deadly. Deadly. I remember Groaning Spirit killed
there you
a
are. Yeah,
character
there it
in
is.
the when we ran Ravenloft, the original Ravenloft
Yeah.
module. It was a wandering monster encounter too, which made
Yeah.
it even better. So
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's an elven. You normally say they're elven, but I don't see why they couldn't be
That's
human. But I know that's why it would
yeah.
tie into your
Yeah.
lore. What's your
Yeah.
thought behind that, Anna?
It is that elves that turn evil, they can't be joined into. They don't get the calling to the Seldarin. So they can either stay in that form, but then eventually it will be harder and harder for them to not be, because elves have this fey connection, so to speak. So then they will eventually, instead of dying, they actually turn into banshee-like creatures eventually, so to speak. So if they live long enough, then they turn into banshee like. So those are evil elves that have turned their backs to the Seldarin, and they are eventually kind of caught up by the Unseelie court and then turn into banshees.
I'm going to ask a non-PC question because I feel like getting in trouble. Are they only women in your campaign, Anna?
No,
Okay.
and banshees are male too. Yeah,
Okay.
can be male too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever used one in one of my campaigns, but
Ditto.
I have.
I've used them in near.
what's
near,
its main attack?
It's
The scream. The scream,
Yeah.
and it's save or dead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably why I wouldn't use it.
Yeah.
I don't like confronting my PCs with save or death.
No, but I don't take
Situations.
it's death outright. That's a first edition thing, but in you it drains levels when you hit.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, so you drain life basically.
Permanently?
Nope, not permanent.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say
Yeah,
a vampire.
well, it's permanent until you get like magic help or something. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I love them.
Yeah.
I love banshees.
But you can, so they're, it's one of my really cool monsters. But it's a monster you should use sparingly, and it should have
absolutely.
a kind of a story tied to it, so to speak, not just something that randomly screams out of you from the corner, so to speak. It's
unless you're in Ravenloft Castle.
Yeah.
Oh.
I had it near Narvel in the hang on a second here.
Yeah, where would you guys put Ravenloft in your own campaigns?
Keeland.
That is.
I had to say that.
North or south?
Yeah. I would look into it and make Black Splinter a Ravenloft thing. I would turn the castle Black Splinter into Ravenloft-like. I used Ravenloft as one of the inspirations when I did it, so I kind of, in spirit, placed it there, but it doesn't have the significance of Ravenloft because Ravenloft is so large and rules over a huge area and stuff like that. So with those surroundings, but I read through the module and used a lot of the inspiration from.
I'll tell you where I put it, but go ahead.
I could also see it fitting in the North Province, in the North Kingdom.
Yeah.
Especially up there near the borders where we kind of really don't have a lot of lore. And
yeah, exactly. There's a lot of empty up there. And thematically, it's perfect.
My understanding is that Ravenloft isn't huge. Like you wouldn't need to fit it more than one hex or something like that.
Exactly. It's not that enormous, but it's more like politically significant rather than geographically large, so to speak.
I placed mine when we ran it, before the map was added up and it was blank, northwest of Salt Marsh, south of the Dreadwood, and northeast of the Whole Marshes, because it's in a remote. That's where there's a remote area back then. There wasn't anything there.
I'm a little confused too, Mike.
You know, that area, Salt Marsh was there, but there wasn't much
But-
else on the map.
So you're still you're saying still on the
It was just an estate.
on the coastal side of Keoland.
Yeah, but closer to the marshes, like where you have the Dreadwood and you have the Hool, and just in a remote area there, because you know there are some swamp near it and stuff.
Yeah,
so-
Like good hills and
Yeah, I think the Salinmore area works pretty well for it too.
yeah.
yeah.
You
I
can
also
have
think north near the Rushmores is kind of a little spooky
Mhm.
between the two rivers. There's not much going on there. I think you could fit it there, and he could be, a Naheli lord or something like that who
I was thinking you could
who
turn-
disappeared.
Yeah, you can turn the hang on a second, I need to go in here. Hang on a second. The free reavers, you can
Mhm.
turn that into. You can switch up there or up in the Hornlands, up the
And-
northern Hornlands somewhere.
Yeah, if you really don't want to mess with your cannon much, you could put him in what they used to call the northern reaches of
Yeah.
Furiandi, which was now the land of Ayus.
It's such a, if you read the module, the original one, it's such a small area that the discussion is about, right? And there, that you
I mean,
could,
a barony shouldn't be that big.
yeah, it's small. I mean, and
But
remember,
a lot
Greyhawk
of
is so
baronies in-
huge.
Yeah, a lot of baronies are like 200-300 miles across.
Yeah,
They're
so,
much bigger than
there's a-
baronies were in
I had it,
England or France. or-
one hex area on that map at the time, but but that was back in the day where you could place stuff all over the place because
Well, you still can.
yeah, absolutely. But it's a good one because that ties into the one I really want. And Gary, I'm hoping you know the story because I read a little bit on it and I was like, wow, this is a in-depth discussion. And this creature monster appears. First time I've ever saw it was the sidekick of Strahd in Ravenloft 2, which a lot of people don't know. Okay, and that is let me get to him.
The Quickening.
Please don't ever mention that movie again. That's the most disappointing. That was one of the most disappointing nights of my life. I can tell that
Hey, we
story.
realized that we need to have more vampires in for you and me. Just so you know. Yeah.
Azalin, Gary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes.
yeah, he was a
Yeah.
creation for Ravenloft that was placed as originally being in Greyhawk
And Neural, right?
in the Neural area. But originally I was really skeptical. I said, I don't think this is going to work. I don't know about this. But the more I looked at it and the more I looked at the time frame, I think it actually does kind of work because there is a period in there in the late 100s, early 200s where that area wasn't very well settled. And you could easily have a minor despot, forming in that area and maybe ruling
Yeah.
briefly. So I think I think it's not that bad. I mean, and then I kind of included him in the article about Saragrim,
Oh,
the Good
cool.
Lich. Yeah, and
Yeah.
kind of made him an antagonist for a little while. So
Because that's not his real name. Azalin. He becomes Azalin when he turns into a Lich. He's actually.
right.
I can't
I think it's
remember.
more of a title, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the story about it. It sounds like,
Yeah.
he just decided I want to be king of the area as long as I can, and he kept on stretching it out. And, it just seemed to work well in the story plot, but I hadn't read in depth on it until I studied for this. But for some reason, I just know that he first appears in Ravenloft 2 and then goes off and has his own demi-plane in the Ravenloft setting. So, there you
Yeah.
go.
So in a current campaign, he's completely out. So
Right.
unless people from Ravenloft can reach into worlds and mess around, he's probably not a Greyhawk antagonist anymore.
So I got to say something. So Nerd Vouchery, we probably saw it in the same place, the Deptford Theater that was down on the road behind not the AMC, but the other one where they had it there that night. We're talking about Ravenloft 2. I'm sorry, listen to me. Highlander 2, The Quickening. We had like 12 people going. We're all excited. What a terrible movie. So we probably, because he lives near me, he probably saw the exact same theater. Oh my God. Yeah, General Cinema. That was it, Bill. The General Cinema in Deptford was where it was playing. So, oh my God. Now you got me going on that. All right. So, Zaylan is another big named one. Gary, come on. You gotta have some other fun ones that we're not even scratching, and then we'll go back to Mike and Anna again. What do you got?
Well, I want to bring up something that was written pretty late in the Greyhawk 98 era
Okay.
and kind of got passed over, but I think it was one of his best works, which is Roger Moore's Legacies of the Soul Imperium. So
Okay.
in that Dragon article, he basically posited that 5 monster races, the Larara, Darrow, Skulks, Germalain, and Doppelgangers were all legacies of the Soul Imperium. The suggestion being that the Soul liked to experiment with genetics and created other races. And those races were probably originally created to help them fight their wars. But once the Imperium fell, the survivors of these races began to breed and multiply all by themselves and create their own cultures. So
That is interesting. Yeah.
these races are like so intricately bound to Greyhawk because of this article that it really makes them kind of a cool thread to play on. And that doesn't even count.
Is this?
This is in Dragon 241.
Ah.
It's called Legacies of the Soul Imperium, and I think it's some of Roger's best work in Greyhawk. And I always found that when he avoided the center of the campaign, he avoided the city of Greyhawk and the main NPCs, and sort of did something outside the norm, like the Orbs of Dragonkind or this article. He was really at his best, I think.
Yeah.
And if we ever get him as a guest, I will gladly pay homage to that.
That's all. Wait a minute. So we got Germalain, Darrow, Skulks. What were the other ones?
The
Doppelgangers and Germalain.
Yeah.
And Darrow. I think there are 5.
Yeah, Skulks, Germalain, Darrow, Doppelgangers.
Yeah, it would be controversial to call the Larara another race, but it does seem like maybe in 1,000 years of exposure to the mother, they'd have become unique. I mean, it does seem like, for instance, Elaine Mystica, the wizard in Iron Gate, has some kind of unique racial powers, like long life, intrinsic connection to magic, that sort of thing.
Mother Scratch.
Yeah, and then maybe these are not an exhaustive list. There could be other races, smaller versions.
Yeah.
I know some fans out there have some really great ideas for that. I've spoken to them over the years. And then there's the Soul Lich, which isn't even on the list. The Soul Lich is like a totally unique Lich form for Greyhawk, and it's essentially a Lich without a body that takes over other people's bodies, burns them up, and then has to keep jumping to survive.
Ooh.
Like the hidden.
And they all go back to the Imperium. So they've, if you run into one of these people, they're more than 1,000 years old and probably extremely intelligent.
Yeah. Where does that first appear, Soul Lich? Do you remember?
I'd have to Google it.
Yeah.
It's probably a Dragon article.
Gitana will find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gitana will end up finding that, or Jason Zavoda will have it in there.
I guess it's Suel.
Soul, S-U-E-L. I recall seeing it very early on.
Oh, yeah. Monstrous Compendium, Volume 2, 1995.
Yep. So that's second edition.
The second edition, yeah.
Yeah. Monstrous Compendium. I bet you I have it right here in the book. I didn't even know.
Oh yeah,
know that.
then yeah.
Compendium, Volume 2.
Somewhere.
Okay, cool. Yeah, something we got to check out. Maybe use that. Yeah, it's definitely a good one. So another one I got up right now is Sons of Chaos.
Oh yes.
Yep.
So they came from Fiend Folio from 81, and then they got incorporated in. I mean, is Caius Gary a demigod, lesser god, greater god, or none?
I think right now he is a quasi deity.
Quasi deity. Okay.
Maybe verging on becoming a demigod, but not yet.
So that's from Age of Worms, correct? Where that all gets discussed.
Yeah, I think Age of Worms. He's maybe trying to become a demigod.
Okay. So were they not were Sons of Kias not intended to be Greyhawk at first, and then they utilized them as the idea was so cool? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of these first edition names that by default was assumed to be in Greyhawk, and Eric Mona and crew decided to. Oh, actually, I think the Wormcrawl Fisher was placed actually by Sargent before they even took up that storyline. So they were already working on someone else's decision.
Okay. So Gitano just placed that Soul Lich is in Kingdom of the Ghouls, which is James Jacobs, I believe, and Dungeon
Right, and
70.
that's a whole nother monster category, for Greyhawk too, which is ghouls, the White Kingdom.
Doracine, the Ghoul King, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's James Jacobs on that. So, very cool. So this is a case where it's not like a Sword Wraith or Drowned one but the Sons of Caius were early. It had to be British because they more than likely because they came over from Fiend Folio and were adopted into Greyhawk lore. That's my guess. If anyone knows differently, please let me know on that. So, come on, Mike, give me another one.
Okay, so everyone knows what a Manicore is. It's
Yes, sir.
from myth, very common, not at all unique to Greyhawk. But there's a named Manicore in the city of Greyhawk.
Wow.
In the arena,
And
correct?
It's in the arena.
Yes.
And it's called Oswald.
Yep,
Oh,
Oswald.
That's
So there you
scary.
go.
And it's
There
a
you
bit of
go.
he's a bit of a ham, isn't he?
I don't think he has wings.
Yeah, he's
unfortunately.
clipped, so he can't escape.
Yeah.
But he plays up to the crowd too.
Yeah, he's kind of a fixture of the
Yep.
pit.
Yep, good one. That is a great one. Absolutely. Yep.
But in the same city, you got Lord Henway. It's Menagerie, and he don't have any named critters in that menagerie, but it's just interesting that there are monsters within the city, though I think by the laws that are listed in the box set, you're not supposed to own monsters. I always thought that was interesting.
He's got special permits.
Yeah.
In fact, I believe you have to in Expedition Ruins of Greyhawk. They have it. You have to recover 2 Arumviraxes, which are really nasty monsters. Yeah. And so I'm thinking that Eric Mona, James Jacobs, and Jason Bowman loved them so much as I did in Monster Manual 2. They're like, let's make him recover a couple, if I recall that correctly. So, yeah, definitely a cool thing. But yeah, great one, Mike. I completely forgot about Oswald. That's a wonderful one. Anna, you got one for us?
I was thinking we talked about the old Seoul monsters that might have come from the Seoul Empire. And I was thinking those albino creatures that live in the Sea of Dust that are the remnants of the Seoul inhabitants. They're from the Gord books. And they're kind of a little albino people that live down there, and they're kind of the leftover, the ones that the Seoul that were left behind, so to speak. They turned into to albinos. They're from the Gord books. Yeah.
Did they ever get a name?
I'm not so sure what they were.
That's not the Lorara, is it?
No, it shouldn't be, but
that's what I was good at. But they're because Gord and Leda they're fighting these albinos, and they become prisoners of the albinos, and who lives in the under the Forgotten City, or down in the under the Sea of Dust. So they're kind of the left remnants of the Seoul that couldn't escape.
So yes, we're going to do a Dragons adventure discussion, Dragons only one, because there's so many. We're going to do a Dragons one, and you'll get your fill of them. Trust me. And Legends of Lord within the next couple of weeks.
Episode,
yeah, we're going to do a Dragons one, absolutely, and that's why we're trying to stay away from it tonight. So, all right, let me go through my scroll here and see what else we got. Alan, Doracine, drills, and the Death Knights. Hi. How are you? What background? What are you talking about? That's Gary. That's Gary's special. That's the Matrix.
Mhm.
Oh, look, I missed one. All right, so I got named one. If we go to Return of the Eight, uh, he came from like out of nowhere in this adventure, and that's Tyranny the Merciless,
Mm.
right? He's a
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of what they did with him, but
right Type 4. Named, the Iron Flask of Tyranny is where probably they got the idea from. And so they turned him into this demon and the schemer, grand schemer behind the entire thing. Um, yeah, it kind of was. It felt like it was pigeonholed in, right, a little bit.
yeah, unfortunately, I think that was a little bit of Roger Moore's style when he did, dealt with the NPCs of Greyhawk. He he would not create a new NPC to save his life. So he would reach for one of the NPCs that are named, and fiddle with him and make him fit whatever square peg with the round hole
Yeah, and
that he was
and
creating.
it's understandable, and it's
Yeah.
that's it's not something that it's okay.
If I
It's
recall, Tourney's original description kind of lent him to perhaps being a Backloonish, or something more exotic.
Yeah.
That would have given a little bit more lore to the Backloonish lands. But I think Sargent may have specifically made him an Iridian and put him into
Yeah.
conflict with Joey D,
Mm.
who was another NPC name from the first edition DMG.
Very cool. Just it came to my mind. And I know, hey, I got a picture of him in Return of the Eight. So let me see what else we got here. See if I missed
Have you
anything.
guys already mentioned
Haven't done that one yet.
Norkers or Xvarts? Or
No, we haven't. I didn't know they were really Greyhawk fame specific because
Oh
Norkers,
yeah, they're
Yeah,
definitely Greyhawk.
that's true.
because Norkers are Pier First and Fiend Folio too, don't they? They're a Fiend Folio monster.
Are they? Or I thought
Or are
they
they
were
Monster Manual too?
I thought they were specifically mentioned as followers of Raxivort,
Norkers?
No, the Zvarts are
Zwarts are.
as along with Varts.
Huh.
Norkers are like aren't
Goblins.
they in the Saj camp?
Norkers are in Tharsden. Forgotten Temple of
Hmm.
Tharsden. That's where I first saw Norkers, and that's a good one too. If that's so, and let me see here. Yeah, Norker is in Fiend Folio, right there,
First appearance.
first appearance.
Yeah.
But no, then Shokanth, which is
Oh,
same time. But yeah, so Norkers are a great upper level, because they get 2 attacks. But yeah, Zvarts with Raxivort too, both of them, the blue skin.
yeah, that one always made me wonder, why does a minor thing like the Zvarts have their own deity in the World of Greyhawk box set when at the time we didn't have Grumsh or any of the other
That's true.
humanoid deities, but yet we have a Zvart god?
Well, we had the deity because he was left out deities and demigods.
Because
Oh.
Greyhawk.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those idiosyncratic things where you just don't know what Gygax was thinking. He just thought it was a cool thing.
Mhm.
Did he
I mean,
have some greater thing in mind with Raxivort?
You never know, but I mean, he really laid on some lore there and said, that he used to serve Grazit and that he stole something from Grazit and ran and
were
hid.
they in the novels? I never
Raxivort?
read
Core novels?
Zvarts in
No,
any of
I
that.
don't
Don't
think so.
know.
But I might be wrong.
Yeah.
It was like 10 years since I read them last, so I need to read
All right.
them again.
Very interesting question there on why. Here's one that Gary brought up that I love. And if you're doing a forest campaign and you really want to throw a curveball at your players, I got the picture here. Dun, 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 dun. Should be up any second. There we go. The Leranican Black Treants.
Oh, yes.
Really
Yes.
nasty.
That was one. Yeah. Hmm.
So
I mean, it's such a great idea. I mean, Treants are scary in any alignment. just
Yep.
because of their size and power.
Yep.
But imagine having some that are actually evil and really want to kill you. I mean, it would be the worst thing in the world.
And it is placed in Greyhawk.
Yes, and it's a sus forest, which apparently is
Ooh.
pretty much the most evil forest there is.
Yeah, but there's also one placed in the Thelwood that became the Bonewood.
That makes
And-
sense.
Yeah, and in Living Greyhawk, or no, they actually, I think it's in even the Undying, or if it's later in Living Greyhawk, I forgot. I think it's even Undying, but I might be wrong. And they gave him Vagamaviv something, and that took over and turned the Thelwood into Bonewood, and that's a kind of abyssal tree end, or one weird dark black tree end.
I want to read the last
Yeah.
paragraph on this. Now, first of all, there's two types of Larenican. There's blighted and non-blighted, right? Okay. Here's the last paragraph. It seems highly likely that the Scarlet Brotherhood has captured treants and is experimenting with the use of blights that will turn the treants to evil while not affecting their health or combat ability. These specially bred Larenican may be well placed within the Menna Wood to attack the defenders of Sundi who spy on the eastern margin of the wood. There have been several reports of young Larenican, an unusual occurrence from that wood during the years of the Greyhawk Wars. So that's a one little blurb in this that probably no one ever has read, or
Yeah.
so crazy. So there you go. That's a specific Greyhawk monster, and it's really nasty and fun.
Yeah.
Just like the Murlocs are. I'm kidding. That was a joke. That's why I put the picture up right now of the Murlocs. So that's a Greyhawk deity, a Greyhawk monster. Wow. All right, let's get with one more each here, or a couple more. Gary, what do you got, man? You got any others you want to talk about?
Oh, we still got a bunch we could talk
Let's
about.
do it.
Let's talk about some mundane ones.
Yep, sure.
The camp rat.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Camp rats are in.
Camp
I mean,
rats.
that was kind of an ingenious creation, because it gave you something in which to hurt your players with in the middle of the night. I mean, you could steal a major magical item from them just by having a camp rat chew through their stuff and drag it away. I think it's a really great creation.
See, Katana, you know what you're thinking about. Yeah, change cats in here too, as Asher says. They're all hiding in the tree from it. I love them both. So change cat can go in house cat form, and can change into what's the other form it has there? It has, is it a standard? The change cat resulted from a Rel Astron wizard's experimentation many decades ago.
So that's very much a Greyhawk.
They arose to the east of the Grimwood Forest. They spread readily westward and throughout the world. So there you go. Another good one. And camp rats are annoying. Camp rats are like not as annoying as ear seekers and some of those other things that can be extremely annoying. You throw in a party. Go for it, Gary. What else we got?
Quaggoth.
Oh my God, Quaggoths, bred by intentionally enslaved themselves to Drow.
It's a really bizarre relationship, but boy, would they make good, muscle for a lot of different races.
Yeah, and they are large, and they get the bear negative attack. When they go into negative hit points, they enrage like bears do. So yeah, they're just armor class is terrible, but that's okay. So yeah, Asher, yes, we did talk about the Animus early on. The Animus is an interesting one. We agreed a bit overplayed, but definitely a way to not make everyone liches, to make them something else undead.
In all these years, I've never run into anyone who's created their own Animus for their campaign.
I haven't.
Not me yet, but I'm being close, but I haven't done it yet.
No, you're good, Asher. The reason behind that is, I think, is because we're not specifically, we're thinking, oh, they're in the Great Kingdom, and we're not using them in other places.
Yeah. But it's also, my campaign is also late, so I have to figure out who can make something into an Animus, so to speak. But
So another Thule Imperium race, the Skulk.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
skulks are
Oh, that's
so
right.
fantastic that I have them throughout the SUS too, and they're cowardly. They're humans actually. They're a race of humans. They're cowardly and can blend in, and they're Fiend Folio original appearance. And most, it says right in here, most communities, if they capture skull, kill it by a very horrible death because these skulks kill children in the night and do all sorts of awful things, and they're pure chaotic evil. So let me see if I got a picture. Here it is. There's a skulk right in Fiend Folio. There you go. Yep. So skulks. They backstab. They function as 6th level thieves, and they speak common. Yep. So there you go. Really a nasty one. Skulks are cool, and they have a horror aspect. That is true, Skagith. They definitely do. Hey, thanks, Tabletop
Hey, Wally.
Santa. What a great name. What's that? What's that, Mike?
Said, good night, Wiley.
Wiley. Good to see you, and great.
Yeah, good
Whoops.
night.
I just hit that button. It was wrong. I was trying to do a Wiley shout out. Thanks, Chuck. Chuck has been a little under the weather, so give Chuck everyone. Hopefully, we'll see Chuck on Sunday.
Yeah.
For that show.
Slots.
Yes, we got some things going on. Slides, yeah. So slides are
There's
nasty.
two named slots.
There are two named in Greyhawk.
I don't know if they're tied to Greyhawk specifically. I just know there's two named slats. And I'm not really sure if they're supposed to be deities or if they're just really powerful.
I
You
don't
got
know
one
either.
it's Sendam, the Lord of Madness, and Yogorl, the Lord of
Oh yes, Entropy.
Death, I think, or Entropy.
Yes, and they're both in Fiend Folio as well. One rides a dragon, doesn't he?
Yeah, that sounds pretty badass. It
Yeah.
might be
One looks like a big
tough.
brain, doesn't it, or something?
Yeah,
big
one's just
amoeba?
like an amoeba, right?
Yeah. Very cool. Wasn't there some slide in
Very
one of the World Greyhawk 7 levels? Isn't WG7 Castle Greyhawk? All right, so Antiquitous says Quag Keep. Is there any original monsters that you know of, Gary, in Quag Keep?
No, not that I know of.
Okay.
So that Greyhawk Monsters Compendium seemed to have a lot of monsters in there.
It does. It does. It
Yeah.
has a lot of great ones. I think
A lot of them I know I've never used. And then I just found one called the Nos Curie from Living Greyhawk Journal #1.
The journals.
If you look at the art for that thing, oh my god.
What is it?
It's like a skeletal, like a 16 foot tall skeletal monster that walks on 4 legs.
It's not a skeleton, though. It's not undead.
No,
It just looks like it.
but it's all in the
Arctic.
all in the north. Lots of barbarians, I'm sure, fight those
I'm
things.
glad you mentioned that because I think I might try to throw one in my Ice Barbarian campaign.
It's
Well, that'd
almost
be great.
It almost sounds like the original TV show The Terror. Remember, did you see the first season of that, where that had that creature in the north, and it was just it looked like a demonic polar bear, but it really was some kind of other monster. It reminds me of that. So
Right.
here's some other Greyhawk ones which you'll be surprised on. Scarecrow.
How does that become Greyhawk?
Yeah.
It's in the Greyhawk Adventures.
That's weird.
I do
Yeah.
not know.
I need to bring my
it
monster
says it
compendium
is.
down here.
Yeah. This one definitely, because this one was in Return of the Eight, and I just used this one too 2 weeks ago. Slow Shadows.
Slow shadows.
Yeah, they slow you instead of draining strength. Right, they're a little more powerful than regular shadows, and I know there's a bunch of them in Return of the Eight.
Oh, I just thought they were low IQ.
Yeah, well, let me tell you about shadows real quick. So I used to work at a movie theater in the early 90s, and the scariest shadows you'll ever see is in the movie Ghost. I don't know
Demi
if you guys
Moore.
remember that movie or not.
With
Is it the
Demi-
one with
Swayze?
with Patrick Swayze?
Yeah. There's shadows in that at the end of that movie, and that's how I would run shadows.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
Oh,
Two more,
anyone
and
out there? Yeah,
the-
the Willie's saying exactly about that.
these are definitely Greyhawk. Tiergs, right?
Tears.
Tiergs. I know that Charnelem has trained Tiergs at her keep on the border and the raising line at the border of the Vespi Forest in Furiundi, and she's a knight of the she's a knight of the heart. So I know that that's the first time I saw them was from the ashes in that place and from in the Marklands. And the other one is Mist Wolves, right? Mist Wolves. Do you know? So Mist Wolves are lawful good.
Oh.
Yeah, Mist Wolves are awesome. Yeah.
Sounds like the wolves in Game of Thrones. I have gibberlings. I don't know if you guys brought up gibberlings yet.
No, I haven't. I love gibberlings.
That's what I used in my to start off my Ice Barbarians campaign.
That makes sense.
There is a monster in the monster compendium too that is kind of interesting. That had the Greyhawk logo on it. Gremlin.
Gremlins, really?
Yeah.
I was thinking of those 80s movies.
Yeah. So they made it in there. So now we know that.
What I like about the Gibberlings and like the Quaggets and Norkers, those are actually in the encounter charts in the box set.
Yeah.
Right.
That's very Greyhawky in my
That's
opinion.
very Greyhawk.
Gary, you mentioned a massive, major monster from Greek mythology. It's in the 83 folio that we didn't mention. Go ahead, Gary.
I did.
The Kraken.
Oh, the Kraken.
Oh,
You know, I love this because it's one of the few
Gibberling.
monsters mentioned in the natural description of Greyhawk.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're mentioned as creatures that's basically sport in the bay around the barbarian lands. So, what is that, Grendip Bay? I can't remember.
yeah.
I mean, could you imagine having to sail Drakkar out of one of those small cities and then having to make the Aerty coast, but you have to get through some Kraken on the way? No way.
Think about this. Shipping is dangerous in Greyhawk and most D&D campaigns. Kraken, dragon turtles, which will knock over a ship and come up and just. So you got you have a little bit more dangerous sea creatures than we do in the real world. There, those two are really nice.
You don't travel across the world much.
Yeah, and there's multiple dragon turtles in the near deep, isn't there?
I think it's mentioned that there is again to the Gord books. In the Gord books, they use one of these ballistas that is mounted on the ship, and there is a big nasty monster coming, and Gord fight stuff, and so there is something big. I forgot what actual monster it was. If it was even, I don't think it's mentioned exactly what it is, but it's something big and nasty.
So Bosluk says Thousand Tooth from Scarlet Brotherhood. Is that a Kraken or a dragon turtle? It sounds like a Kraken.
Yeah.
I don't know. So Bosluk, just because is it in the Scarlet Brotherhood reference? So
I'd have to look that one up. Yeah.
So there's a dragon turtle that Gary probably knows about in the Isle of Dread. Well,
I was saving dragon turtles for dragons.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How about Grimlocks?
Grimlocks are scary because they're blind and they have vision out to 20, 30 feet, and they're just nasty creatures.
Did you guys ever see the maybe 1960s The Time Machine?
Yes, they're Grimlocks. They call them Grimlocks.
So that race that lives under the ground and eats
Humans.
the poor humans who live on the surface. I mean, that's what a Grimlock is to me, and boy, is that nasty.
Yeah, it's like a million years in the future, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like they're humans too. They just evolved south in a very bad way.
It's a great, it's great that we're getting out a lot of stuff that we're just thinking of last second here too. And El Naval, thank you so very much for the resub. I really appreciate it. Chud. What a movie that was. Carnivorous, what was that? What did Chud stand for? Something
Cannibalistic.
underground dwellers, right?
Yeah, human underground dwellers.
Yeah,
something
that's
like
it. Carnivorous human underground dwellers. Awesome.
that. Here's a really obscure one, and I wouldn't even know how to introduce these yet. So there's a race called the Faranth, Faranth, and they're from Dungeon Magazine number 83, and they're supposedly a race that sort of dominated the Flannis before humans.
Okay.
They're
a lumpy toad-like creature. So
Wastry.
So you could definitely connect this to Wastry's beliefs, right?
Yeah.
That in some ways this prior primordial race is the superior race. And then in Quag Keep, I think there's mention of this place called the Pinnacle of the Toad, a kind of temple, repository of knowledge and magic. This could be tied to the Faranth. I think they're mentioned in connection with what is the module called? Oh, it's called Deep Freeze.
Deep freeze.
Yeah, they were brought down by a time of ice and darkness, so they liked heat.
At least they weren't from that. What's that one with the black box set? Night of the Comet or Tales of the Comet or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I almost bought that once, and I wish I did because now it's like the box set's like $150 for that crazy thing. Yeah, it's kind of
Here's
like
one that from the really old school, the Hook horror. That is actually
Oh yeah.
Hook Horror. Yeah, it's Underdark.
It's actually in the Greyhawk appendix for the Monsters Compendium.
Although there's a huge story in the R.A. Salvatore novels about a hook horror. It's a peck that gets. Am I correct on this for you, R.A. Salvatore Drizzt people? The peck gets polymorphed into a hook horror. Is that what happens? I think. Yeah. But I'm almost positive that's the story. Not related to Awesome. Night of the Comet's a great movie. Absolutely. That's a great one. So
There's a another race from Dungeon called the Torhoon, Torhoon.
Yeah.
They're a race that dominated Monoland 8,000 years ago,
wow.
and highly magical.
So
It says they were 7 feet tall with elongated features and foot-long hands. Something snake-like about them. So maybe they're part of the reason why the Forbidden City turned to, these dark snake-like gods.
Yeah. Here's some of the weirdest monster I've found in the Monsters Compendium: Crystal Mist.
yeah,
like
they're in
the
version.
Yeah.
They're in this book. They're in here.
Oh, they're in that book too.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that, but I never used them. They're kind of a snowy version of Will-O-Wisps or something.
Yeah. There's Chrismals. Hold on.
Yeah, and they
Crystal Mist. Yep, here they are.
Yep.
It's a swarm of living crystals that dwells in high mountain regions.
Okay. Yeah.
They don't have an evil alignment. They're neutrally aligned. And they're immune to a lot of things, not as much as a Will-O-Wisp is. So, individual. Go ahead.
That just made me think of the Mist Golem. So in the 1983 glossography, they have these little mini adventure ideas, and one of them is Quest for the Mist Golem. It's never statted out, but imagine someone able to configure a golem made out of just mist. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was that adventure again? Because I know I ran it. It's a dungeon, isn't it?
It's at the back of the glossography. It's one of the 5 or 6 adventure ideas they had, and essentially some wizard named Murk, M-U-R-Q, wants revenge on the city of Greyhawk, and he steals the children of a bunch of nobles, and the PCs have to go after him. He's somewhere up in the north, and he has this Mist Golem as his main servant, and you're supposed to chase after him. Yeah. It's not statted out, so we don't know what the monster would be like, but probably nasty.
I'm almost positive I used that adventure hook I'm not going to pop it up because I don't want to crash the stream because we've crashed enough streams lately. Mostly due to Tim's fault, but we won't blame Tim. So, wow. So anyone else have any others? We cranked out through a lot. This is pretty awesome.
Yeah, what were those man scorpions? What were they called in Bright Desert?
Man scorpions. Yeah.
They're called man scorpions.
Okay, yep.
And then you had in Q1 pedipalp and all that other sulfugids and all that other junk that they threw in there in the Q series and on the Abyss. But yeah, man scorpions. Man scorpions were kind of like the centaur, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Scorpion centaurs.
Yeah. Kind of.
The Scorpion King. The Rock.
I mean, I always associate the Kuo-toa with Greyhawk, so I don't know if they're original to the setting, but
they have to be, considering D1, 2, and 3 are
cropped up in any other game setting.
I use them a lot, but I think they're in Pathfinder.
Oh yeah, but
I know Darrow in Pathfinder.
Oh yeah. Pathfinder just took a whole bunch of stuff over and reused it.
Okay, I've got one last one. For me. Okay, it's called the Hordeling.
Oh,
yeah, Hades. They're summoned from Hades. Yeah.
So interestingly, they made a claim in some book, and I can't remember which one it is, that they were the means by which the Soul caused the invoked devastation. So there was an artifact called the Bringer of Doom, and when it was invoked, these Hordelings destroyed the Baklunish Empire. Now, that means it wasn't destroyed in magical, energy light. That means these people were literally, torn apart by fiends.
I believe
which would
be
a far more colorful death.
So there were like 100,000 of them coming in.
Yeah, I mean, probably a portal opened all over the place.
Manual 2, Hordelings.
Yep.
Which is a pretty nasty thing to do to your rival.
It says here, right in here,
destroyed buildings and everything too.
That doesn't fit very well, but yeah, unless they had some magical means to disintegrate stuff.
And probably trees and any other kind of features that the Empire used.
Well, yeah, because they also changed the climate.
Yeah.
So it seemed like a retcon. It wasn't mentioned at the time that the lore was created, so I don't know if it was some later author's attempt to create a mechanism for the invoked devastation.
Gary, Monster Manual 2. Are you ready? Page 75.
Oh, it's that old. It's that old.
Go.
Okay,
the only known method of drawing more than one Hordeling to the prime material plane is the Bringer of Doom, a strange device created by arcane magic during the evoked devastation. See World of Greyhawk and Now Lost.
See,
so
Gary, you know more than you realize.
Beautiful,
You're the expert here. Yes.
But
that was amazing.
That was
that
what
was
a way to end it.
Absolutely awesome.
I didn't even know that there was Greyhawk references in Monster Manual 2.
That is unbelievable.
Wow.
What a catch that is.
See, you read it and then you remember it 10 years or 25 years later or something.
Anna, back then, not only did I read it, I remember coloring those books.
Oh, cool.
I took my color pencils out and I would just color the monsters in.
Yeah, it's like a coloring book because it's pure black and white in Monster Manual 2. It's not grayscale. It's pure black and white.
And you had the description, so you just go, oh gosh, I hope those books still survive in my garage.
Oh, you hope so. Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't have them in the garage. They need to be in a secure vault or something. Yeah. Climate controlled and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, if they make it to eBay, then Puppet Dad will just buy them.
I know. So how many? All right, I gotta ask Gary. How many people have harassed you for a signature on your LGG recently?
Recently, a bunch.
I know. I've seen that in a lot of people trying to get that signature on the LGG. So
yeah, but if it already has a signature on it, you would never want to put that in the mail. I wouldn't.
No, absolutely. You wanted to get them signed in person,
especially if it's someone who's passed away already. I mean, no way.
Yeah.
So Dennis, we're gonna have to meet either in Canada or in the United States to complete your collection.
Absolutely. because you know, there's a lot of get some Eric Mona signatures there too, and some other, you know, other than that.
Well, he has all the authors of the
Except-
LGG plus Gygax.
except you.
So I don't, except for me,
Damn.
but I don't
Oh,
I don't think anybody else will ever be able to claim that,
No.
because
No, that's true. Yeah.
yeah, Fred Whining is not available,
Fred.
and neither will Gygax. So
I got 2 signatures. Smith.
who is it? Eric and Sean?
Yeah.
Well, if we get you, Gary, then that will be so high because that's impossible. So
I could send you a post-it note.
that would work. Put on the inside cover, slap that
Yeah.
thing in on there,
Yeah.
laminate it in.
yeah,
That would work.
But yeah, Greyhawk has a lot of monsters. It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
We really delved into a lot of some named, but a lot of unnamed too. And I hope you all enjoyed the amount that we went over, giving you some ideas for your campaign. There's a lot of when's Gary going to GaryCon? Well, Josh, considering that this is probably not the year to do it in March, so you got two there.
Yeah.
Oh, you did on the inside. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So don't know. Whew. They're feeling like crazy, man. Wow. So why don't we do some shout outs here? Look at that. And we're already over time, but who cares, right? We're running a good one here. This has been a great discussion. And then we'll talk about Len real quick at the end here. So what do we got going on there, Mike? What's going on with you?
Well, I'm on round 8 of the Ring of 5 questions, so go on the blog and read everyone's answers. It's going along really good.
Beautiful.
Meanwhile, I have go on to Cannon Fire, check out the postcards touring the planets. I just did a thing on the Plains of the Paynim / Dry Steppes that you might enjoy.
I saw
Other
it.
than that,
Very cool.
that's all I got.
Anna, how about you?
the first 12 pages of the heraldry for the atlases are done and up on the website. And I'm going to write some more blog posts, and there's a bunch more coming. There will be, I don't know, 4 or 5 pages, maybe 16, 18 pages or something like that before it's done. So that's the and also the new generation Greyhawk maps are progressing a little bit, but the problem is that there's been one thing after the other. Now we have a big fire down here 10 miles away from where I live, so my husband's daughter and her family got evacuated, so they have to stay here for a couple of days. But now they're living in hotels, so I got my office back again. So otherwise they used it as so I've been kind of out of office for a couple of days, but so it's been kind of hectic. But we're okay here, so it is not that windy anymore, so it's good. But so I have been kind of a little bit short changed here for a few days, but it's progressing. So the most of the heraldry is done. It's only a few wrap up pages left to do on that one.
Very cool. Gary, how about you?
Oh, the usual. I just want to say that Len would have been a perfect guest for tonight. He loved monsters, and I think, he would have had many to talk about dedicated to his name. So let's all keep him in
Probably
mind.
know he might have created some of them we didn't know.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Because Gygax love to put his name on stuff. So let's remember him. And I guess the only other, we started a new project on Campfire. I'll post the link right now in chat. We're essentially creating a map of all the Greyhawk adventures, and that includes the adventures that were in Dungeon Magazine or other sources like that.
Wow.
So if anybody knows where some of these modules are located, we're looking for volunteers to help find them on the map.
How extensive is your map? Because there's some that I can probably think of that weren't like we're set in the far Backlundish West.
Yeah, so Anna's map goes a little bit past Zyph, a little past the Plains of the Paynim, so we can't go any further west there without substituting a different kind of map. But I was thinking of pulling the old Hawaii and Alaska trick and maybe creating a box on the side
Yeah,
for outer planes and other
Yeah,
parts of the
there you go.
Earth.
Because
just
like
mention them without. Yeah.
when you get into Savage Tide, how far south would this map go?
Exactly.
Far
Now,
enough.
now
And
what I've been
Alge, right?
thinking, what I've been thinking of doing is
Yeah.
pasting Mort's map from the south of the Densec Gulf underneath the
Ooh.
map. And until Anna starts detailing the rest of the world, we'll have these temporary maps
Yeah.
that kind of give you an idea of what
Yeah.
things are like just beyond the map.
Great idea.
Cool.
Very, very cool. The Cannon Fire project for all the locations is moving along. I finally yesterday submitted the Wild Coast.
Cool.
Yes. And God, actually, thank you, Rich Longitalis, if you're there. But we actually have a link to Gavin that we did the Wild Coast, Anna, you and me, and Jason Zavoda.
There's
Did
still
that
yeah.
one. It's linked into the article, which is good.
yeah. So there's
Great.
according to Longitalis, there's still several locations left to be done. So
Yeah.
someone chip in.
I got 3 Ulick states to do, and I volunteered because I love it. I volunteered to Shield Lands too, but if someone else takes it before I get to it,
Yeah,
no big
7
deal.
left. So those 7 don't include what Jay's signed
Yeah.
up for.
I have 3. There's a bunch that are reserved that are not done, and 3 of them are mine. I think was there about 9? Yeah.
I still owe the project Iron Gate and Lordship Isles.
Okay.
And I've done Keoland and Relastra, so
I've done 3. I've
10.
done.
But I think you're right, Mort. The 7 don't include the reserved ones.
Okay.
Right. 7 that
So
are not reserved. Yeah.
So it's probably like Tiger Nomads and
10. Isn't Judgy a 10 one? Oh, Canadian took 10. Cool.
I think one of them is Shield Lands, and
Can I?
cannot believe that.
Yeah, no, I just volunteered to do it. If I get the Ulick
Oh,
ones,
you did.
yeah, I said
Okay.
I'll do Shield Lands.
Okay.
But if someone else wants to take it beforehand, that's fine.
I'm just surprised that's not one of the first ones that was done.
I
thought
really
it was very
think
popular.
I really think you should get Dennis Malden to do Melcott, because I didn't see Melcott on the list.
Yeah.
it's on the list, but
Okay.
I've been trying to convince them to do it, but it's
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, I told them Altamira's there already.
Yeah, I'm in. I did Celine, Altamira, and the Wild Coast so far, and thank you all for that. I really appreciate you.
And it looks like we're going to probably do Greyhawk by committee, the city of Greyhawk. No one's really volunteered for it, which is of course weird, but at the same time, I can understand. It's going to probably be the one that needs the most editing.
How do you condense that?
How do you condense that? And you don't want to turn it into like a 5-page thing. So
yeah, that defeats the purpose.
Yeah. But it's got to be there. Every new DM to Greyhawk is going to first check out that place.
Of course.
To break it into quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can talk about overview of the city and then go into the different quarters. Yeah.
So it's a great project, and you're linking a lot of other things to it, and you're going to do weather and all that too, correct? There's going to be so it's going to be
the weather project is
yeah.
really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's a great thing for those that are new to Greyhawk or really just want to know about an area and want a starting point, right? And that's okay, and that's what it's for. Or for like if I have a reference and I need to know something about the county of Ertz or whatever, I can just click on that and get some quick references. It's really a cool thing.
Some of the ideas are going to try to load into their like travel times, resources maps. So do you want to know where all the resources come from in the Flannis? We'll adapt the map from the original guide and put that in there. Danger/alignment maps. So maybe using colors, you can kind of paint where the safest places in the Flannis are, and use that as a transparent layer to overlay anything and say, okay, well, now I know where I would rather be traveling than, take that shortcut through the land of AUs.
Definitely a great reference and something to build on. Just one other thing for the community, and that's it. It's the sum of everything that's going on that makes the community much stronger. And I commend everyone who's participating in it. Definitely a worthwhile thing.
And just a shout out, if anyone is concerned about Jason, he's just written me a day or two ago, and he's okay, but still struggling with health issues. So everyone, keep him in your thoughts. He's definitely still into Greyhawk and will return when he's able.
Yes. I talked to him once by Facebook Messenger, and hopefully he'll be back and participating in shows like he did, a couple of months ago, where he was really, talking a lot about stuff. And when he's ready, we'll do a pre-wars show of some sort, so he feels fine about it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We'll get one of those classics. That was one thing he and Lem had in common. So was they liked their 575, 576 era, which was cool. All right, so what do I got going on here? So tomorrow night, it's a Halloween one shot. John had his today, and I have mine tomorrow. And some cheese going to be here. You've probably seen some pics. Curse of Sleepy Stream Bridge. So this is in the Principality of Volok, the northern area of the Principality, and it's a one shot, and it'll be fun. So just take it for what it's worth. It's kind of themed, but I always throw a twist on things. There'll be at least 3 Reaper miniature giveaways tomorrow night. I have some things they call pizza dice, which is dice sets with a miniature in it too. I got some of them to give away. So that'll be a nice giveaway tomorrow night, and that'll be a fun one. And then we go to Sunday, and Sunday is a really big deal for everyone. I'm hoping, if you can participate, please do. Or if you want to just watch, that's fine. But it's going to be our Len tribute show. Here are the current 100% guests that have committed. Anna, John Birchfield, Josh Pop, Jason Jacobson, Amy Crittenden, Joe Block, and Alan Grohe are all in on this show, and I guarantee there'll be others too. So, and we're just gonna talk about Len and have, Ishlan, I got 3 sets of them, so I'll be giving them out. It's something that it'll be a fun one. We'll just talk and just reminisce a little bit. I'm going to try and find some funny clips. Work's been beating me a little bit, but I'm hoping to get to that on Friday to get that ready for Sunday's tribute show. So there you go, and that will be on Sunday. Now, next week's Legends and Lore is a big show. If I can find the placard, because one second, view. I've been doing the research, and I'm like, holy schmolies, this person has a lot more publications that I knew than I didn't know, and a ton of them, and I'm not even halfway through them yet, and I was very surprised on how much Skip Williams has done. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Not only that, but he played in Gygax's original campaign.
Oh.
So we will get him, and special time, we're going to start 7:30 next week for Legends of Lore instead of 8 o'clock, okay? I will note that down multiple times. 7:30 start next week for Legends of Lore instead of 8 o'clock. He did Sages of Ice for years. Just a couple that I have found. Axe of the Dwarvish Lords, Treasure Chest, Sea Devils, Rod of 7 Parts, City Sites, Deep Horizon, Draconomicon, Moonlight Madness, Planescape in the Abyss. They're all his. And that's all, that's just what I've snipped so far.
Hey.
So
Dragonomicon, it's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Parts of 3rd edition.
Yes, I haven't even gotten to the
Yep.
players' handbooks yet and all that. Advanced Players Manual is that was third party. But yeah, that is and I'm not even done. So I found a lot.
But could we subtitle it "The Trial of Skip Williams"?
We don't want to scare
No,
him off there,
no,
Gary.
no,
It took me long enough to get
definitely
him.
not. Yeah, definitely not. We need
Yes.
to be very.
So Skip, how many bad ideas did Gene Rabe have in that module?
Oh my gosh.
No, but I'm Dragonomic, and I just love it. It's an awesome book that details so much about dragons
He
and stuff.
has so much stuff. It makes me wonder if he won't remember any of the stuff we gripe about.
Well,
Oh,
might be.
yeah.
Yeah.
it's
The
a
The
possibility.
Greyhawk stuff is buried pretty far in the past.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about 20. I think today was the release of Players of Third Edition, and
Yeah,
20 years ago
20
today.
years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
saw something about that.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this discussion because this is the only big name I got right now. So lined up.
Well, you got lots
yeah,
of them over the
but
past
we're
couple of
working on
months.
some
Yeah.
others. I got Casey Brown's working on some really big names for Living Greyhawk, and Josh Poppin is working on and I are working on some other names for some other ones coming up. But this one is, it's going to be on a Wednesday normally, but he wanted to do Wednesday over Sunday, which is not a problem. So going to be a good one. We'll have some nice discussions, and then next Thursday, and I've said this multiple times, but I get to go back and run something that I've never run before, but I've placed it in a different spot, but that's my prerogative as a DM, and that is against Cole, the Reptile God. And it's northeast. The town is Lorraine, not Orlane now, but who cares?
Yeah, you moved it from.
Yes, and I put
the-
it northeast of Narwhal. I put it in the Wild Coast, a small community. It ties into the storyline. The patron headhunter, their patron Candace has been missing for over a week now, and she was last seen heading in that direction. Because I had Newbriar, Shadows of the Halfling Hall, I placed there as well. Plus, I got a couple other Troller Games adventures that are going to be placed in this area too coming. I've done a lot of research, and they fit perfectly here. Plus, we're talking with Troller Games about stripped out Greyhawk content. That's a little Easter egg down the road. I'm not talking about the Len. I'm not talking about Len, but I'm talking about just general. They're very amenable to it now, so we'll see what happens there. But I'm looking forward to running this because it's one of the few classics I've never run before that are pretty low level, and so we're gonna hit that up a week, and then we'll, that'll probably take the whole month of. It's not a short module. That'll probably take the entire month of November, maybe 3 settings, or maybe even 4. So, yeah. It reminds me of a cross between Assassin's Knot and Hamlet. Kind of has that feel between the two of them. And the entire town's I'm going to have the town of Lorraine on my table, the entire town. So note that will be on on the table. We will have that set up. So other than that, we'll see you all Sunday for a very special Gabbin. Looking forward to having a nice discussion and a nice tribute to say goodbye to our good friend Len. We are excited about doing this the right way. And I want a little humor in. I'm hoping, like I said, to find, but there was nothing was indexed as far as Len discussions because they were so random, right? Len would come on and say something that had nothing to do with the show. So I don't know if we will. I'm going to try. I'm going to try and pull out as many of those Lenisms as I can on things. It'll be a nice show. It will be. So we'll see you all. We'll see you all tomorrow night for the Halloween one shot. I may even be dressed up for it. You never know. Back to some low-level Bloody Brethren stuff, and we're gonna raid Will tonight. He's up. He's got a game going on. So yeah, Morpheus. We all miss Len, and Len, like I said, a week ago today, Len was supposed to be on the show at the beginning, and then he logged right before we went live and said he DC'd, but we think he wasn't feeling well. It doesn't matter at this point, but yeah, we already missed Len because it's been less than a week since it happened. So, but thank you for a wonderful show. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Gary, all for coming on and really having a really great discussion tonight. And thank you for the support. It just keeps on growing. Hopefully we'll hear some positive things from Twitch. I mean, I don't know, don't know what else I can do at this point. You know.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep the community moving forward. So let me see if I can do this properly here. We'll see you tomorrow night. Hit the right button, Jay. All right, gonna set this raid up into Will. Hang in there, please. Give Will a shout out when you get there, and then have a great night. Raid. Where's the button? Here we go. Whew. If you all can hang out for a minute or two, I'd like to talk to you real quick after this.
Yeah.
All right, 10 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1. We'll see you soon. See you tomorrow night. Raid in. Channel. Trying to get into watching here.
Why is everyone wearing cowboy hats?
Oh, he's doing a table. He's not doing Greyhawk tonight. He's doing a he's doing Deadlands. Yeah, Deadlands is a system. It's available in Roll20 and in Fantasy Grounds, I believe, too. So he's playing Dead. Oh my God, they're dressed up. Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's funny.
The Balladeer.